Four, three, two, one. Good evening, Internet. Good evening, people of Earth. It is 8 p.m. on November 14th, 2022. I'm back. It's only been about eight time. Don't know how to forget it. It's me, Chris, and I'm here with my good friend V from Subtle Smile. V, how are you?
I'm doing better.
Better. You were
Which
under
is
the weather
I'm happy.
recently.
Yeah, I think if you guys see my latest YouTube video, you'll see that I wasn't able to breathe very well. So even now you can kind of hear that I'm still going through it, but it it comes and goes. It's life for me. So it's something that I deal with, and I deal with it just fine. So, but it is getting a lot better now. So
I'm
I'm
glad that you're
super
getting
excited.
better.
Yeah, I'm glad I can talk for the stream.
Word. I'll say this, listeners and viewers, if you'd like to help V out, there are three things you can do. First and foremost, if you go to subtlesmile.com, which I put the URL in the description. So if you click on that, clothing and prints are half off until the 28th of November. So get some art, get some clothes. I'm wearing the hoodie right now
Oh,
that I got
thank
all these years ago.
you.
It's a little tattered and worn, but like
He's like an
this is my
original
security
fan right
blanket.
here. Oh, I love it.
And also you can follow V on Instagram and on YouTube. I didn't put that in the description, but once this goes up afterwards, after this stops going live, I will put that in the description as well. Like, come on, follow. You already follow 1,000 accounts. Like, why not make it 1,001?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
please.
we will all be migrating off of Elon Musk's Twitter soon. So
Oh
like,
gosh,
why don't you keep
yeah.
your feed full of interesting stuff instead of boring stuff?
Yeah,
Be
I gotta
cool.
say that chaos on Twitter though is something else. Like it's been my entertainment for a while. I might not stay on Twitter. I deleted my Twitter and then kind of came back after a month with just like a whole new account because it I wanted to change my algorithm to find people that,
That are
do
nice.
similar things that I do. And so that happened and now it's just pure chaos and like I don't know if I'm really keeping it because of the chaos or if I'm keeping it because I think it's good to have Twitter. But
I think
I'll figure that
both.
out.
Both can be
Yeah.
true. Both can be true.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so I figured we only have about like 8 songs to talk about today, and so
Okay.
I thought we would have some we do something fun.
Okay.
Right now, recently I told you off stream, but someone that I followed was like, "Yo, voting for Beyonce for the AMAs," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that happened. That's gonna happen soon." The
Yeah.
AMAs are in 6 days, and so I thought,
Wow, that's
let's take a
soon.
peek.
Yeah.
And so I have it on a different tab,
Okay.
and I figure we just go through it together. If
Okay.
that's okay with you.
Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
start right at the top. Artist of the year. There are a shit ton of nominations.
Oh yeah.
Normally there's like four, but now there's seven. So they are The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, Bad Bunny, Adele, Drake, and Beyonce.
Hmm.
And I already think I know where you're gonna go with this.
Maybe I mean, this person's probably the only artist that I've heard any of their stuff or new stuff. So
I am personally biased to Bad Bunny, and it's
okay.
only because I recently watched a bit of a video essay on his career. And believe it or not, we're all in our 30s, you, me, and Bad Bunny. And he used to push groceries at a store before like his SoundCloud took off.
Nice.
And I kind of really like respect the hustle, like
Yeah.
just like his rise to fame has been organic, and
Yeah.
that like because now he's like a mega star, and this most recent project knocked off artists like Drake and Taylor to really like the number one spot when it released.
Yeah.
And I think he played an especially big show where like he out loud rebuked the private company that run Puerto Rico's electrical power,
Yeah.
because like I guess like it's just like absurdly high, and they didn't really play much of a role in just like helping when things got when they got slammed by bad weather recently.
Oh
They
yeah.
played a
I heard
very predatory role on the island, and not like they didn't they're hurting more than they help, and he called them out on that. And for like one of the island's biggest stars to say that, I sincerely commend. And I feel that like Bad Bunny's success is the disruption of like our daily programming. Like had he not been here, would we have been surprised at any of the other nominations?
True. Very true.
And what I'll say about your guy, of Abel, it's like he was recently on Twitter talking about, damn, I feel like y'all didn't give Don FM like the respect it deserved. And I'm kind of salty about it. Just
Well,
a
I saw
little.
you tweet something about it. I forgot what you said, but
I'll repeat what I said.
yeah.
I think I'll even quote myself if you don't mind.
Not at
I'm gonna dig
all.
that up right now
This is your
because
stream, friend. I am just here for the ride.
okay, because like I feel empathy a little bit,
Okay.
but I also wanted to like talk my shit. So I think I'm gonna talk my shit real quick.
But I do remember that. Your last sentence was, I talk shit, but I liked sacrifice. Or something was like,
Yeah,
that's what
and
you said.
that's exactly how
Ah,
I sincerely feel that way. You know, like because it's a fun song. You know,
yeah,
like
it's a good
I
song.
think I like it better than Take My Breath. If I'm being honest with
Oh, yeah,
myself.
I like it better than that too. I feel like Take My Breath got more airtime than, like, there are
Did get
certain records
airtime.
that, yeah, there's like certain songs out of an album that'll like get more airtime because I guess that's the one that the artist chooses, or whatever, to send off. But I always seem to like the other songs more in an album than the one that I always hear, even if it's
Ones that
good, like
aren't
even
like
if I like
slated.
it.
Yeah.
But
All right, I'm not finding it, so I need to go to my conversation with Living Abstraction because he sent it to me. We thought the meme was just a shit post, but he actually posted it, and we're like, baby, are you all right? It's like because like the video he posts like breaking my silence. It's like, dog, I thought something was wrong.
I
Get the
know.
fuck out of here. All right, and there are over 2,000 quotes. Maybe they put mine to the
Oh, I
front.
saw that video. But I didn't watch the video. I just saw people like posting about it, and I didn't understand, like, what was he breaking his silence about? You can
Yeah, I
ruin
thought
it for
something
me.
was
I'm not gonna watch.
wrong. You think like something like actually like, oh, I'm gonna have to
But
like
is
step
that what
away
he
from.
but is that what he said? That he didn't that Don didn't get the recognition that
He
it
says it
deserved?
slaps front to back. And I'm like, babe, let's not do this. Let's not do this. You know, because like what drew me to the album is like, oh, he got like a Tyler verse. And I'm like, ooh, let me listen to this song because Tyler's on it. And I'm like, this isn't really for me per se, dog. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I felt the same way. I feel like his new stuff isn't for me either, but I'm gonna try and bring my computer closer as long as it doesn't fall. Oh, what the hell? I don't even need the keyboard part, but I'm just gonna leave it there hanging.
one more time because this is the problem with being on Twitter all day is that like
Well, that's the thing. I was about to say, like, it's too hard to find your shit because, like, you post every minute, and it's like even I can't keep
guilty
up
is
with your tweets.
charged.
It's like when I open my Twitter like once every 6 hours, or even if even that, I'll like see like 20 tweets just by you on my
Oh God.
feed.
Shoot. All right, one more time, I'm just gonna give up.
All right, no worries. Take your time. But yeah,
Yeah, just trying to
yeah,
find
I
things is
can't
difficult.
remember the smack that you actually talked. All I remember was that you said you liked Sacrifice, and I was like, "Oh, Sacrifice is a good song. Maybe I can find it
Goddamn right.
because
Perhaps.
my Twitter is new, right? So let
Yeah,
me see if
right,
I can.
right. Your feed isn't as clogged as mine. I think I follow. How many
I
accounts
mean,
do I
my
follow
feed
right
is
now?
only clogged by you, so.
Oh God. Yeah, I follow over like 4,000 accounts. So guilty as charged. Scroll, scroll, scroll. This is not planned. I promise you, folks. But it's important. I'm
Let
telling you,
me
just for the content,
see.
it's important.
I
It was like
can't
a
remember
whole
what you
afternoon
said.
ago.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Sorry if I keep
Scroll,
yawning,
scroll.
by the way. It's just
Don't
my
apologize
breathing.
for yawning. Yawning is crucial. Sometimes
Ah,
it's
crap. Because I thought I talked to you about that. Maybe I didn't talk to you about that. Maybe but I'm just checking our DMs so I
I hope I
can.
didn't delete it to myself because that made me really sad.
No, I don't see it in our DMs.
I just did this with like somebody else recently too. We were talking about this one Belgian artist we got into, and I couldn't remember her name, but like I liked the tweet. So perhaps
That's the thing, you get so
Perhaps.
lost. Oh, excuse me, jeez. Lord. Oh, but that was a good yawn. I actually feel like my lungs feel better.
Or like a dog yawns, I always say "good yawn" to the dog because I'm just like, you should be proud of yourself.
I know. I tell the guinea pigs the same thing because so guinea pigs will rarely show their yawn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. I feel like I want to like check the date, make sure I didn't like scroll past it. Oh. Oh man, I think I may have screwed up for good. Man, maybe this means I
Yeah,
should
I
vote for him.
can't.
Should I vote for him? I kind of don't want to do it. Nah, if you had to complain, I feel like if you had to complain about like, damn, no one gave my thing is this. I'll say this and I'll shut the hell up about it, right?
Mhm.
So Dawn FM comes out.
Yeah.
And of course, like like it almost isn't. It almost feels like the one the project previously had just come out, and so it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, more music. Whoa, and so you get that album, but then you go ahead and like double down with like a deluxe release. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like you really believe in this project. So I don't know. Maybe you took a step out on faith that you shouldn't have, but like you had the heat, and like I'll say this. I'll say
Mhm.
this too, just to add on to my shit talking. You made the album with I don't even know the name of the song. Wow. Um, but you put out the album with blinding lights on it. What the hell is that called? So After Hours comes out
Uh-huh.
middle of the pandemic. Has the streets on fire. You say
Uh-huh.
no to the Grammys. You play the Super Bowl, and
Uh-huh.
then 2 years later, you're like, here, have some more music. You know what I'm saying? You book Jim Carrey. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, like you feel disappointed by your decision. I say don't be disappointed because your direct competitor, Aubrey Graham, put out a dance album ahead of Beyonce's project and didn't have I feel like a quarter of like the impact that
Mhm.
Renaissance did.
Mhm.
Then doubled down with a joint release with 21 Savage that
Okay.
like gave us a bad meme and like outright disrespect for three black icons. You didn't do none of that, my friend Abel. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like take a break, bud. I don't know, take a break if
I
that's how
think
you really feel.
yeah, but I mean, I I have to give him credit, like, ever since he came out with like uh oh my god, I can't remember anything about anything. What was the last album? Oh, After Hours.
Yep. See,
So when he came out with After Hours, like, before then he was like kind of trying little new things here and there, but After Hours and Dawn FM are like completely different from what he started out with. Like the music that he started out with to me. Like
to everybody. Let's
feel
be real. To
more
everybody.
I feel more when I listen to Trilogy or when I listen to Kissland or even when I listen to
You liked Kissland?
I liked Kissland. I like Trilogy better. Much better. Like I
I think
listen
most
to
people
Trilogy
do.
more. But it's just kind of like but you have to give him props that he's trying something new that he seems to enjoy and that he seems deserves the credit for all the hard work that he puts in. Like it's he's on a different stage now though, you know what I mean? So it's like either you play the game or you do what you like, and he's doing what he likes, hoping to win the game. So, I can't give me one sec, sorry. I thought there was an emergency, but there isn't. And now I have to give me one sec.
It's fine. While you're doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and go over Bad Bunny because I'm petty.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, okay. But real quick, just to quickly end, it's just as an artist, it's something to admire. You know what I mean? Like I'll admire The Weeknd for doing what he does. I'm not so I think that's the only reason that I still follow him. Like even if that music doesn't necessarily hit me the same way that it probably hits him creating it now, but I admire him a lot. So
I want to say this for context. I'm only talking shit because because like when a big artist puts out a project with two really decent songs,
Yeah.
why are you asking for more? You already get to come out. You already get to release a
Yeah.
project
Yeah.
that's gonna move units significantly. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? If you still feel like damn I'm disappointed, disappear for a while, drop in 2 years. If that's like a man like Abel can avoid releasing anything for 3 years if he really wants to, and I
Yeah.
would say that three-quarters of the industry could never afford to do so. So
Yeah.
I'm brush it off your shoulder, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I
go
think
talk to
but
your mom.
I mean, but it's kind of like the other day when I was breathing worse than this, I tried to sing, right? And then I put it on my Instagram being like, "Hey, I just want to show everybody the reality that like yeah, that's probably why I don't record as much as I need to because I need to get everything in check before I start doing things, right?" But then the message I posted after that was, "I'm really upset, so I'm going to bed."
Real.
I actually went to bed with a smile on my face that day. Like
In
I
spite of
was
all that,
yeah, cuz it's kind of like something comes out of you where there'll be a point where you just hit disappointment, whether that be disappointment in people aren't supporting you the way you thought they would, or disappointment in for me, and I mean, I don't know about the weekend, and maybe he liked the project more than other people did, and that's why he's defending his work, which I think as an artist, if you're confident in your work, no need. I am sure many millions of people listen to that record, but
yeah, for sure.
like when I wrote that, I'm upset, so many people came to me being like, "No, you sounded great. Are you okay? Don't be too upset. You're
Aw,
awesome. You're wonderful." And even you came on and you were like, "I couldn't even tell." And I'm like, "That's so sweet of you because I could tell because I couldn't breathe." But
because it's
it's
you,
like,
yeah.
yeah, but like there's like a certain disappointment that you feel that sometimes, especially with the world of social media, that you will probably, you you just won't. I don't know how to put it, like, it's stupid to put your thoughts on social media. A lot of, your personal thoughts about whatever on social media, but some people just have that impulse. Like me, I rarely talk about myself or how I'm feeling on social media. So if I say I'm upset on social media, people take it seriously.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like I feel like it was one of those things. He was upset in the moment and then uh said something about it. You know what I mean?
Look at here. It's definitely a thing where nobody would have known he had not said anything because as many people as I follow on socials, I could not detect an inch of people talking shit about Dawn FM. One of my
Yeah.
favorite creators on YouTube, Mike the Snare, is the person who brought sacrifice to my attention because I don't outright just go out of my way to listen to Abel's music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I never expected to enjoy like Heartless from After Hours, but I'm like, oh, this is just
Heartless
like
is
a
so good.
it's just like it's the Abel we've all come to know and love because
Yeah.
he's on that ignorant shit. It's just like only Abel could
Mhm.
sing the way he does with the lyrics that he does, and I'm not laughing him out of the room because it's like, listen,
Because
like
that's
Abel
his
is the
life.
guy
Yeah.
who's gonna like appear in a cloud of cocaine and take my girlfriend away, and I'm not gonna be mad at him because that's just who the weekend is.
But that's the thing. Like a lot of people come here and I think that's why some people who make this kind of music,
Hedonism.
yeah, I don't know. I there are a lot of people out here who want to do those lyrics or that sound because it's the cool thing to be that way. And if you but the thing about like a certain lifestyle or a certain way you grow up, a certain darkness that you see in your life, a certain light that you see in your life. A lot of people out there make positive music because they've lived a positive life. They want to share that love and positivity. So like when I listen to music that where people live that life, it can be like this person was very genuine in sharing their love, right? It's the same thing when it comes to dark things. If you don't live that life or you've never experienced something like that, it it doesn't come off as cool when you try to mimic it. You just don't sound genuine.
You know what? Not to derail you, but like I
Oh
think I
no, that's
remember
fine.
what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, he said it slaps. He said that Dawn FM is a, it's a no skips album essentially. I
Mhm.
disagree.
Mhm.
And what I said is like, oh, like your average listener is not going to like pick up and listen to an entire concept album, because Dawn FM is a concept album, and it's a
Yeah.
very good concept album. In spite of in spite of me trash talking it, it is a good concept album. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
The Middle Eight, another good YouTuber, did a really
Mhm.
great way explaining what's happening when you're listening to the project and what it all means. He's done that for like at least two other of his albums. So like
Yeah.
that's definitely like a an aside, like go check out Middle Eight. He's super freaking good at just like breaking down what's happening if you're missing anything. And so like I think uh Abel being surprised is
Mhm.
good for people at his level or folks who are reaching for that level.
Yeah.
And because like a bad day for Abel is a good day for most. And so
Yeah.
I
For
cannot wait
sure.
to see how this is going to be reflected in his next project. And I sincerely hope it takes a while before we hear it. Like my
Yeah.
fear, whether like I like you or not, when you're in the stratosphere doing what you do as a creative, and like
Yeah.
something takes the wind out of your sails and we never see you again, I don't like
Mhm.
that shit. Even if I dislike you, it's like, oh, like if you're on the planet to do something cool and you don't want to do it for
Yeah.
whatever reason, I
Yeah.
um I'm hoping it's for like reasons that like are completely out of your control, and
Yeah.
as opposed to like, it ain't hitting the same. I'm a bounce. You know what I'm saying? Because like
Yeah.
hell, like and even if he's like, oh cool, I'm going on hiatus, that's fine because
Yeah.
the man's already given us far. Is a person at his level and at his caliber has given us
Mhm.
more than we already deserve at this point. Frankly, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting Donna Femme, but
Yeah.
he gave it to us, and that's
Yeah.
freaking sick. So, kudos to the guy.
Yeah.
Still better for Bad Bunny though.
Oh,
More,
yeah. No,
as,
I mean,
still
you
did.
should vote for who you want, who you like. I think it's just, like I said, I don't know much of the popular music nowadays, so it's like,
Let's learn, I guess. Then we
yeah.
have our next category is best new or new artist of the year. We have five as opposed to seven this time. We have Steve Lacy from the internet,
Mhm.
Lotto, Gail, Meniskin, and Dove Cameron. I know everybody here except Dove. I know I've heard her name before, but I'm not familiar with her music.
She's the one who sings, what is it? I could be a better boyfriend than him. That one.
I looked her up because I'm like, again, like I know her name, but I don't know why I do. And yep, you're right. Like that boyfriend record has like over 300 million streams, and she has like
And I
13
think
million listeners.
so, like, she has a very, like, sultry voice. I like her voice. The record's good too. The song is good too. So but I mean, yeah, I feel like Maneskin. So
I'm leaning towards them too, honestly.
well, honestly, when I first heard them, it's because they got famous for doing a remake of a song on TikTok.
Yeah, that
And
fucking John.
Megan,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and so
and
I think I sincerely believe that like they they're not I don't consider them a one hit wonder, and like I just it's cool to see an actual band like get coverage that like it's like for me they're getting like Imagine Dragon coverage for being an actual band, and
yeah,
again a band that's not from America, so
and but like I think that's the thing why I like them is because they got famous for that doing that remake, and then I heard them do another remake, and then I was like,
which
are they
one?
just a cover band? It was a Black Eyed Peas song,
Oh, I never heard that one. I'm not gonna
and
lie.
I they did a cover of that, and then I was like, oh, are they just like a cover band? And so I actually went and listened to their album, and they're great. I
Yeah,
really
they're
really
solid.
like them. So
Yeah, I think
I
I
was
might be
just
rooting for
like,
them.
I'd like them to win. I mean, I think they
Yeah.
deserve it. They're good.
I do like Steve Lacy, but I feel like I think the problem
I
with
like
Steve
Steve Lacy
Lacy,
too. I think I saw
I
him
I,
on SNL.
I think my biggest issue with Steve is that like he's feeling himself and he's kind of vain, and I don't appreciate
Mm,
that personally.
gotcha. Like I saw him play some songs on SNL, and I was like, oh, this kid's
He's
good.
got some joints, and there's no question about that. Good writer, good singer, good guitar player, but like I think he has an attitude issue. I have an attitude problem. That's a me thing, so I'll hold that.
Okay.
Gail is the ABCDEFU girl, and
Oh,
I'll be I think I'll be nicer to her if she can if she can get coverage in the mainstream for something else, because I don't think that's a very good song in my personal opinion. And
I think it's great song. I think
you
it's a
like that
smart
song?
song.
Okay.
No, 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 I don't like it, but I think it's a great song.
Oh, you think it's well made.
Technically speaking. Yeah.
You think it's well made. Okay.
I think it's well made. I think it's well made for the radio. I think it's well made to get in people's head. I think it's a well-made pop song. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm like if she can do it again, all right, I'll give her flowers. But I'm like,
Yeah, but no,
eh,
I think I don't know anything else by her. I didn't even
yeah,
know
and
her
she's
name
just a
until you
kid,
just
so
said
I
it.
don't want to talk. Yeah, I don't want to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? She's just a kid. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
a lot of
I
I
mean, but
like, but
kids
like,
will have their whole life to be getting ahead and doing things. So,
got a head start. I'll say that much. And it's nice to
yeah.
have a head start. So I hope that I hope that it is a boon and not a burden.
Yeah.
And everyone knows Lotto now because I think I got to know
Auto.
her when she went by a different name, and I'm glad that I was happy to see that when she played the BET Awards that she's being embraced by Mariah Carey for sampling Fantasy, and so I'm not worried about her
Ah.
trajectory in the long run. And I'll say for the record, online on stream is that I believe it was her. It may have been one of her
Mhm.
not her. It may be one of her peers, but I believe it was her when she was on Big Boy's Neighborhood, and she was talking about how when she was amping up to release the latest project, there was
Yeah.
one rapper she reached out to because she wanted a verse, and he requested a quid pro quo, and I don't appreciate that because
Oh.
like she's a young person, and like I think it's really like predatory to be like, for some, I'll give you that verse. It's like, how about you just give her the verse or say no?
Huh.
Fucker. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who it was. I don't know if people like, revealed who it was, but if I find out, it's curtains for you, buddy. I'm no tough guy, but like I'm telling all my friends and family about you, and I hope your career tanks because it's super gross. This is what ruins hip hop culture one and just music in general when like marginalized groups can't collaborate with bigger artists because you do weirdo shit like that.
Well, um, as far as I know, the music industry is filled with that. I'm surprised at how many people, you know what I mean? I mean, you don't know unless they get caught or they get their dirty laundry aired out. And I get that. But as far as just what I've heard, a lot of is not, it's always like that, apparently. It's not
Fuck that.
always. I mean, just like a lot of people do it, like a lot more people than you think do it. And
Fuck
so
that.
that's why I work with myself and then I work with the local people. And if you're not my friend and I don't know you, then it's more likely than not we're not gonna
You,
work.
you need a background check.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
not
Keep
here
predators out of the music scene.
not here to give anybody anything. So
Next
I mean,
up is
but
collaboration. What you were gonna
oh
say
no,
something?
no,
I'm
no.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna finish just being like, but yeah, it probably happens more often than we think. We just don't know everybody's name.
I don't want to even put that into the air because I don't if I don't like because even if it's the reality right the second like I think it's important that like we loudly and proudly be like as long as like the two of us are here like we have to push it but we have to push back even if we're the only two pushing back you
Oh
know
yeah, I'll push back
I
physically if somebody were to lay their hands on me. So
So, next award is collaboration of the year, which we have Bieber and the Kid Leroy for their record "Stay," Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow for "Industry Baby," Future Drake and Thames for "Wait for You," Elton John and Dua Lipa for "Cold Heart," and we don't talk about Bruno. And
we don't talk
I'm
about Bruno the song.
yeah,
Oh, cool. My nieces like that song, but I don't
that's so
know.
cute.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't seen
don't.
the
I've
movie
never
yet.
seen the movie. Yeah. And she's like, "Auntie, do you know we don't talk about Bruno?" And I'm like, no, baby, I haven't seen it yet." Then she's
I
like,
don't know who Bruno
"Why
is.
haven't you seen it?" And I'm just like, I don't know what to say to that.
It's so it's it you know it there's nothing that hurts quite as much as being like admonished by a child.
Yeah.
Like I don't want kids to be disappointed in me.
Well,
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
that's
I can't talk about Bruno because I
he's
don't know
very
who he
cute
is.
too. So yeah, exactly. But yeah, out of those songs that I know, um, I guess "Industry Baby."
I'm feeling the same. I feel the same way, honestly,
Yeah, would be my vote.
because
It's
that video
so
was so
good. I'll just
good.
like listen to it all the time.
Video was great.
Yeah.
Favorite touring includes the Rolling Stones, Elton John again, Bad
Mhm.
Bunny again, Ed Sheeran, and Coldplay. Now, you'll have to hear me out
Is
on
that the
this.
art? Wait, is that the are those the artists? What category is this?
Favorite touring.
Oh gosh. Wait, the Rolling Stones on there?
Well, they never broke up, and they never broke up. So
God, yeah. I know. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're broken up or not. It matters if they're on the I mean, I didn't think they'd be on the list.
I
But like
know,
go
trust
ahead.
me, I know. I'm tempted to give it a Coldplay, but only because recently I heard that they're not taking a profit from this year, from like this recent, from like either the tour they're on now or the one they just did. They didn't take a profit and just
Mm.
like donated the proceeds. And like I want to give Coldplay their flowers only because Chris Martin recently said on the radio that like he sees in the future that they stop making records completely, but don't break up and just go on the road for the rest of their tour, the rest of their careers.
Oh wow.
And I really like that song they did with BTS. No bullshit aside.
I don't know BTS.
You're not missing much. But
But they have
did
a
you?
lot of good features. Like I think Megan Thee Stallion did a feature on Butter, and I've only
I
heard
didn't like
her
it.
yeah, but I only heard her verse because I didn't like
I
the
like her
song.
verse because I love Meg, but
Yeah, but that's
I think
exactly
Butter
it. Like I
sucks. Yeah, I
don't
think Butter sucks, honestly. And like, I'm happy they got to play the Grammys because like what annoyed me about BTS was that they got to show up. No, I
yeah.
think they showed up the first time just to like present an award, and I'm like,
Mhm.
why invite them out if you're not going to at least nominate them for some shit? And I
Yeah.
think the second year they came out, they weren't able to travel because of COVID, so they performed, and I think the design team built a set that looked like the stage that the stage looked a certain way the year they played the first time they got the chance to play, and they just like made a replica of the building since they couldn't travel, and I'm like, that is super clever. So like
Yeah.
kudos to the design team for doing that. And then the
Yeah.
third time, the one I think they did last year was super cute because one of the boys sat next to Olivia Rodrigo and she was just like sweating bullets sitting next to dude, and like he whispered something in her ear, and I'm like, oh, that must have been so sweet. But I don't like Butter. I think Butter sucks, and I don't care if Army's mad at me. It's just like I like the Dynamite way better than Butter, but that's neither here nor there.
I can't remember Dynamite.
Na,
Oh,
na, 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 na.
yeah, I remember.
I'm think I'm gonna give it to Coldplay if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I
I
still feel very
think
fondly about Every Teardrop is a Waterfall.
oh, yeah. I think for me, just because they were on the list, Rolling Stones.
Flip a coin. Is that fair?
Huh?
We'll flip a coin.
Oh, no, no, no. You vote for who you want. You don't put my votes in.
Well, now I'm curious. So let's
No,
see.
no,
Heads or
no. Well,
tails?
I mean, okay. Heads.
You won.
Oh.
I regret
But like
everything.
you know, but like you put you put what you want. I
No,
say
that's a bet.
Rolling Stones because to still go on tour, have people want to see them on tour, and still be doing great. Especially after their drummer died recently. I'm a huge, huge Rolling Stones fan.
I can't say
And
I'm a fan, but it's for reasons I don't want to get into on this stream. I'm not gonna lie.
oh, okay, that's fine. It's
Yeah,
just
it's very much like a if you know, you know. But
okay, what did they do? I don't know.
man, oh, you know what? It's I think I'll bring it up only because like you know about my blood feud with Drake, right?
Drake? Yeah, I don't like Drake either.
You know why I don't like Drake, right?
Yeah. I
Why?
mean, because he groomed that young woman from Stranger Things.
Right. And so when I mentioned earlier how like on her loss, Drake has shitty things to say about Meg, Serena Williams, and Ice Spice.
Yeah.
And so like I'm like, ugh, like it's ugh, and so
Yeah.
when I don't remember what like triggered the article or what I read, but like someone just like, okay, so someone said fuck it, mask off, here's like a list of like people who are in like who are prominently succeeded in music, like sorry if your faves are on here. And I'm like, cool, let me just like make sure I'm up to date on shit. And I believe it was Keith from the Rolling Stones
Yeah.
and one of the lads from Led Zeppelin who were just like marrying women who are way too young for them at ages that are like no young person should be married at that particular age because they're not a mature adult at that time. And I'm like, and people are like, yeah, it was a different time. And I'm like, it's still weird and I don't like it. I don't appreciate that shit one bit.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about old bands and old culture, I think it is fair to say that it was a different time. I agree with that. Like, I mean, nobody would do it now because we know more about kids. We know more about development. We know more about how it can harm somebody to marry off that young in society, no matter, um your gender or sex. It does if you're young, for you to get married off that young, it can do a lot. And but we know that now, right? But like when I think about things in the past, don't I do understand it's a different time. I mean, I come from a family where, you know, there was child marriage. That was the culture back then. Nobody does it now. I mean, because women in India now, they get their education, they get jobs, they work, and but times change, culture changes because you learn and you grow. So when I think about things back then, I'm just like, I it's true. I mean, because we can't change the past, right? We can only change the future with what we know. And so the fact that, people don't do it now, or, well, rather shouldn't do it now, I should say, because we were just talking about Drake. Um, that we know now why that shouldn't be done. You know what I mean? So that's why we can be like, hey, you shouldn't do that because that's unfair to her. She's a growing girl, and you're gonna affect her mind, you're gonna affect this, you're gonna affect that. That's not for you to do. And so we understand that now. But back then it was just what people did. I mean, my own great grandmother was married at 7 to a 21-year
No
old
shit.
man. Yeah. And she had like 14 kids, which like none of them survived because well, so let me put it this way. She got married at 7 to a 21-year-old man, right?
Jeez.
But she didn't live with him until she matured and she was able to bear children. And after that age is when she went with her husband and lived in their home. I mean, they were married for life. All of their kids were there. I mean, no, I'm sorry. No, she had like a billion kids, but like none of them survived. It was only like, oh, I want to say four of them, but then the eldest one passed when he was like a teenager.
Wow.
And then it was my grandfather and then his two younger brothers that ended up surviving until adulthood.
Wow.
And I mean, but she used to share this story like she was proud to tell her life. She passed away at like 105.
Wow.
And for her, like, now think about it this way, right? Like, if you were to tell some old person in their time, that's odd. Because, like, she would tell me the story, like, oh, by your age, I was married and had, like, my fifth child. I'm like, great grandma, times have changed. We don't do
Whoa.
that. And then, like, we'd laugh about it because she knows times have changed. She was happy to see her granddaughters and great granddaughters get their education because that's not something she could do, but she was happy to
Mm.
see the times change. But she didn't regret her life. She didn't feel anything. She didn't feel like, we often say that people like this are a victim of this because we know now how it affects the mind, how it affects the body. But she didn't feel any of that. She lived her life. She worked hard for her life. She was, she lived a happy marriage until my great grandfather passed. She worked hard for her kids. She worked hard to get, give them success so they wouldn't be poor anymore. I mean, like, if you were to, like, if she were alive and you were to ask her about that, because I asked her when she was alive, like, how did you feel getting married so young? And she's like, that's what we did. That was the time then. It's nothing odd. And I felt comfortable. And then I grew up and I had a family of my own. I'm proud to have my children. I'm proud to have you guys. It really is a different time. I think now that there is more education out there about what it can do to people if you do that, then that should be a sign that this is wrong. And so when people do it now, they should suffer the consequences of having that education. Right? Now, let's say like Keith Richards is still doing it. You know what I mean? Like he's still going after, whatever, 14-year-olds or something, 16-year-olds. Then yeah, he's a piece of shit. But if he ended up marrying somebody at a young age and they stayed married, or they had a fulfilling relationship, whether they stayed married or not, then I mean, I think it's gross if I see people do it now. But if I think about people way older than me in a past generation, I don't really think about it. I don't think it's enough to like hate somebody for it if they're old in the past.
Um, for my own sake, because I could see like with my aspirations as like a presenter, broadcaster, like person in the industry, nothing that like I've really said can like has been verified by me personally. If anyone wants to like take me to court and shit, allegedly, I guess if that's like gonna cover
Oh,
my
like an
ass.
so it's they allegedly, like, people who were blamed for something like that was on that list.
I'm not even saying that. It's just like in case anyone wants to like go to war with me in the comments and shit. It's just that like and I know for me personally, like I cannot engage if I know that about you. And like certainly didn't like hurt one's career in some and like cause here are the fucking Rolling Stones now still being nominated for shit. And
Yeah, true.
like I would think that like the demographic that ABC is shooting for with the AMAs are not listening to the Stones. I
Yeah,
happened to hear them at like a bowling alley recently, and frankly, it was a live recording that like I was surprised sounded as good as it did.
yeah,
But I think it's information folks need to know going into a legendary act.
yeah,
Like it's on the phone today. I was talking to the Catter from the Catter and Kennard podcast
yeah,
about Guns N' Roses, and
yeah.
he was like, "Yo, aren't they canceled?" And I'm like, "Surprisingly, no."
Wait,
But
why would they
like,
be canceled? How
I
do I
mean,
not know?
I, I mean, like it's Guns N' Roses. I wouldn't be surprised if they were,
Ugh,
but they're not. And that's why
I
I'm like,
mean,
surprisingly, nah, dog. He was like, he asked me to clarify because he knows I care about that kind of shit. And I'm like,
yeah,
actually, no. You know what I'm saying? And like, in spite of them just being like the guys that they were, defining American rock and roll as they have, like, nah, nothing to my knowledge, nothing's like come to the surface. And like,
but
I
I
don't,
mean, think
I don't.
about it. Rock and roll is that life, right? You got drugs and you got bitches. Like that's the life. I mean, we always hope that nothing comes out of things from their past and things like that. But I mean, when you think rock and roll, like I remember one time I was watching who's the front man of Aerosmith?
Oh yeah, they're
Oh,
canceled.
what's his name?
I know it, but I'm not gonna say
Steve.
it. But I
Chris,
know
you're
who
the
you're talking
worst.
about. I know who you're talking about though. Go on.
Oh my god.
I will
I
I
wish
will I will put it in like the private chat because I really don't want to say it out loud.
So would you be mad if I said it out loud?
Not really, but like
Ah, yeah, him. Okay,
yeah.
so for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna put myself on blast. It's Steven Tyler. I was trying to think of his daughter's last name, who because he's Liv Tyler, right?
The
But
actress,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like watching some interview on Steven Tyler like years ago. I must have been a teenager,
I had this book.
and
I know what you're talking about.
What?
I had his book.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh man, I wish I read it. Um, it was like he was just like saying something. He was like, yeah, we were getting. It was like something about he was like talking about how much blow he had in the van, in their like tour van while they were traveling on the road. And like he'd be like, sometimes I was so tweaked out of my mind when I was on stage. And I was just like, that's like the definition of your stereotypical rock and roll. Like it's so funny that he just like outright said it. I'm sure like because they probably grew up being able to say these things all the time, just like out in the open, just talking about their life because people were interested in their life. And it's just anyway, why is he canceled? Okay, so I'm just gonna put this out there. Chris and I are very, very good friends. We are excellent friends. We're like talking on the phone all the time and all this stuff. But
hours.
I hours. But I don't keep up with everything as much as Chris does. The only time I'll ever find anything that he is like passionately hating somebody about is only when he like reposts it on Twitter. And I'm never on Twitter. So it's like so I'm gonna, if it this keeps coming up, I'm just gonna keep asking questions for this stream.
Yeah, like I
But like why is
just because like now I'm kind of like I'm kind of worried that someone's just gonna like now I'm just like it's I'll tell you off screen. I'll tell you off stream. Just
Oh,
because
okay.
for the sake of just like it what really like gets my goat about like a
Mhm.
lot of this stuff is that like I want to advocate for a safe scene. You know what I'm saying? Especially like
Yeah.
in a realm where in the realm that I occupy, like a lot of bands or people in the industry, like managers, tour managers, like
Mhm.
men in the industry get to do
Mhm.
really fucked up stuff
Yeah.
and like walk for years and years and years. And like
Yeah.
it's just like people either forget or they're like never told or like knowing like is responsible and like people are hurt and I don't like the idea that like I could dedicate years of my life to like someone's work and then someone can like, get in my comments or get in my face and be like, I can't believe you listened to this act knowing they did X, Y, and Z. And then, but even if I'm like to say, I didn't know that, and, like, it doesn't like the connection is lost. And I don't want to lose a single connection. And even if like that connection is lost, no matter what I say or do, so be it. But I want to know everything so that when like a person is just like being held and being held accountable for the thing I was already aware and like I can verify what I've heard and like what I've seen and what I know. Like Flyleaf just got
Oh,
back with Lacey Sturm and people were like, yeah, but like she's pro conversion therapy. And like I'm like, fucking A. I read like her first book, and even I didn't like ascertain that information. And I kicked
yeah.
myself because I'm like, I'm excited to see them do shows again. And I like all three of I like the first three albums they released, but that thing slipped me by. And it's just like, I like that's something that cannot slip me by, especially in the space that I occupy, And
Yeah.
so like that's the kind of stuff that really just like gets me
Yeah. Grinds your
gets me
gears.
squeamish
Yeah.
and things
Oh,
of that
living
nature.
abstraction. I do I know that story. It's like one of my I always laugh at that story. It's so funny. That's a good story. But
Shall we move on?
yeah, go for it.
We have a lot of these. I'm gonna try and fly through them. Best, it's for favorite video, including Adele, Bad Bunny, and Chincho Corleone, Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, and Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow. Of the five that are here, I've only seen one, so I'm voting for the one that I've seen, which is Industry Baby.
Yeah, same.
Shout out
I
to Swift
haven't
for like
seen it.
putting out a short film and going on a stadium tour, and shout out to Adele for putting out another successful project. But I don't really
Yeah.
care too much for Easy for Me, and like I love that it's a song about her kid, but like, And in regards to Harry, I prefer the ska version of that particular song. So
Oh,
Harry it
that's
is, and I haven't heard Mi Porto Bonito, so I can't comment on something I have not heard.
true.
Like, I really should listen to Bad Bunny at some point, but it's like he's
Have
not
you
going
never heard
anywhere.
Bad Bunny?
I have never heard a single song by Bad Bunny before.
Oh,
Of
well,
his own work?
I
No,
like
I
Bad
have not.
Bunny, but
I know I like him as a man, but like I haven't like really just like sat down with
well,
his
I mean, I
work
like his
because
music. I
yeah,
just don't remember. everything by name or anything.
Next up is favorite male pop star, or I guess male pop artist. It's a lot of the same faces: Ed Sheeran, Bad Bunny, Drake, Harry, and The Weeknd.
Oh, I guess The Weeknd then. If it wasn't The
I would say
Weeknd,
The
I would have
Weeknd.
said Ed Sheeran.
I'm I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, like Shivers and Bad Habits are bad records. Because I'm not a big Ed guy in particular.
Oh, I love Ed Sheeran. I used to like his older stuff, like to the point that when I actually heard Shivers and Bad Habits, I didn't think it was his song. I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
think that it was his record. So like
that
when
kind of
I
production. Yeah.
looked it up and I was like, "Oh," and it's like but it's like something new and something catchy, right? Like it still has his essence. I think he did a good job. So, but I prefer his like acoustic stuff.
You and most. Favorite lady pop star is features Taylor, Doja Cat, Lizzo, Beyonce, and Adele. And I kind of want to give it to
Mm.
Lizzo. I'm not gonna lie.
Is this pop star?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I'd say it would be between Lizzo and Doja Cat for me, maybe.
I wanna I want to give it to Lizzo because when I before I left TikTok for the month, I
Mhm.
saw a thing where one of her dancers, it was her birthday, and
Mhm.
so they started singing "Happy Birthday" during one of the songs, and like she didn't know that they were going to sing "Happy Birthday" to her, and they brought her mom out, and like she boo-hoo-hooed, and I thought it was very sweet, and I like that kind of shit, very
Oh.
wholesome, you know. Since you brought up Doja Cat, I'm sending my love and empathy to Doja because recently cut off her hair, and she was doing a also yeah for sure EGOT coming. EGOT
Mhm.
is coming. Can't wait to
Yeah.
see Lizzo on Broadway. It's coming. It's coming. But Doja was on Instagram Live, I think making a beat or something,
Mhm.
and everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And she was pissed. And so I feel for her in that regard. It's like let her do her thing. You're like she's fine. Like
Yeah.
she's trolling Elon Musk like the rest of us. She's good. Okay, she's fine. This is what it is. That's what I say.
Mhm.
New album was great. Favorite group, a lot of the same people. Man, this is I think it's why I stopped voting for these things so long ago.
I've
It's
never
a lot of
voted once, so
and like I love the idea of participation, but it's like damn, like with all these categories, you think there'd be a little more of like variety, but here we
yeah.
are with favorite duo slash group with One Republic, Menace,kin Imagine Dragons, Coldplay, and BTS.
Oh, Maneskin or Coldplay.
I think I'm gonna give it to Maniskin because they like I want their star to rise a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to them for sure. Favorite album?
Oh god.
When you know, here we are, right? We have 30, Adele, Un
Mhm.
Verano Sin Ti, Bad Bunny, Renaissance with Beyonce, Dawn FM, for the weekend, Red, Taylor's version, and Harry's House by Harry Styles. I think we have to vote for Dawn just because.
I've only heard Dawn.
Well, that makes it easy then.
Yeah.
I've started and stopped Renaissance, I think at this point 3 times because I would put them on when I was traveling. And once I got home, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna listen in the house. I'm gonna do some other shit. And I
Yeah.
love what I've heard so far. And it's nice to have an album that like it feels like Renaissance feels like it was made to be on CD because like all these songs blend into one another really well,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like freaked out that there's like two more coming if that's what's to be expected at this kind of level.
Yeah.
And the Bay Hive is like, yo, if there's a country album coming, they're gonna like they're gonna be excited as shit, and I am too because I hate the idea of just like shitting on country because it's boring. Like let's make country fun again, like
There's
fun for
like
everybody.
there's like some country songs that like come on the radio and I'm like, "Oh, this is catchy." And like sometimes I'll just catch myself listening to it. I don't dislike country. I think it's just that I don't know much about country. So,
I think people will be more interested in listening to country if like it was just like again like ease of it's like it doesn't feel welcoming, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I do know what you mean actually.
I saw there's this duo I follow called The War and the Treaty, and like they're a black duo that do country, and like they got to go to the CMAs for the first time. It's like, oh, this is our
Yeah.
first time. Like this is our first time going to the awards, and they're a little older than us, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn, like. I wonder if like I wonder if it's because they're like literally a new act or like they've been like I guess like trying for years and they just finally get to go. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm chuffed my hooves a little bit. We'll do this for like 6 more minutes and we'll actually get into like what we're actually here for.
Yeah, it's
I'm
already
just
been an
fascinated by
hour.
this.
Yeah,
My God.
no. Let's do it.
Favorite pop song is Harry, Adele, Encanto, Biebs, and Lizzo. And so I think I'm
Guess
gonna give it to
Lizzo.
Lizzo. I'm giving it to Lizzo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm burnt out on About Damn Time, it's like I still like I think like the message of the song means more to me than the actual song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, hear us talking shit and like the next category is favorite male country
Oh,
with
geez.
I know everybody here except for Cody Johnson. It's Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, Walker Hayes, and Morgan Wallen. Personally, I'm giving it to Chris Stapleton. I
Go
do
for it.
like Colm. I think I do like Luke Combs. He seems like a nice young man, but I'm gonna give it to Stapleton out of the just because I don't know who Johnson is. Morgan Wallen got caught saying words he should not say, and the Walker Hayes fellow has a bad song that he's known for. I think that his one big record is terrible. So I'm voting for Stapleton because he was attending a play, a Tyler Perry play, and someone
Mhm.
spotted him, and so Tyler Perry in like his Medea outfit is like, you have to sing. And someone passed him a mic and he's just like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing.
Oh, was that who that was? Who
Yeah.
sang that in the clip?
Tennessee Whiskey. Yeah, that's his record.
Oh, cause my brother sent it to me, and I couldn't see, I just saw he had a big beard.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
Stapleton.
I was just surprised that he was at a Medea. Like,
I'm
when
not
the camera
surprised.
turned when the camera turned around and where he was singing it surprised me.
Yeah, for
But,
sure.
wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet he's
like
really
I
nice.
saw him play at the Grammys, and he is a very talented performer,
He's really
and
good.
I think he won for something, and he just seems like he was just like cool, like very thankful, but now I'm going to go home, just like a grown
Yeah,
person who's like been in the game for a while. I think he was just like primarily a songwriter, and they're like, why are
yeah,
you just like writing records when you should be like performing them too?
yeah.
I was like, okay, I think I'll do that, and so yeah, I appreciate there's like folks who like come to do the thing and leave. It's like not here for all like the rah shishkamba. You know what I'm saying? Like um favorite lady country artist. I know everybody here except Miss Lainey Wilson. I don't know who that is, but
Lady
we have
Wilson.
Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, Taylor, and Marin Morris, who I also know. Um, I think I might just give it to Marin because I know she was out here recently on social media advocating for marginalized groups, and that's not a thing that happens in country. Like folk, like white women, we were like here for the marginalized, and like why y'all mad that I care about people who are being mistreated by in America. So
Right.
kudos to her and like the record she has, The Bones. That's a good song. I think that's an actually decent song that I hear at work sometimes. So shout out to her. One more, and then we're
Okay.
out of here. One more, because like we're still in the country. We're still in like the country category, and I'm like, oh my god,
Gosh.
oh my god. Country duo or group. I know everybody except Old Dominion. I don't know who that is,
I've
but we
heard of
have Dan
them.
and Shay, who I think are talented. The Zach Brown band, who
Mhm.
were good but aren't necessarily good right now, in my opinion. And Parmalee and Lady A. Do you know why I don't like Lady A? V?
No, why?
Lady A used to be Lady Antebellum, and
Oh.
along with the Dixie
I know
Chicks,
that name. Uh-huh.
yeah, and like along with the Dixie Chicks, they changed their name because they're like, oh, like oh, Dixie is a racist term, and like Antebellum is a racist term, and I'm like, wasn't aware of that, but okay, go off, I guess. And so, like, they changed their name to Lady A, but there's a problem with that
Oh.
because Lady A is already an established act. Like, there's a performer by that same name who's been using the name for many years.
Oh
And,
gosh.
like, they're like, don't care, we're taking the name. And she tried to
Uh-huh.
sue them for it, and
Oh
it did not work
gosh.
out on her behalf. And I really don't like that because the artist was black. And I'm like, why?
Oh
Like you
no.
wanted to change your name because you didn't want to like use a racist term for your name, but here you are taking shit from black
From
women,
yeah.
and
Exactly.
I'm
That's
and I'm
shit.
thinking, my big idea was like, oh, if Lady Antebellum just changes the name of their band to their last names, like, like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, that sort of
Yeah.
way, that would have been super fucking cool. And like, they
Yeah.
have some joints that I actually really enjoy. And I'm like, this
Mhm.
just like sours my relationship to your music when you do weirdo shit like that.
Mhm.
Cause like, because if it's like, oh, someone else has the name, I guess we have to pick something else. It's like, well, more people listen to us, so I guess we get the fucking name. It's like, no, dog, respect your elders, bro.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like it's like a cliche to say that kind of bullshit, but I'm like, dog, like if someone like it happens in like rock all the time where it's like we have this, and because it happens where like you'll write like a guitar riff that someone's already like put on their record, or
Mhm.
like, oh, someone already has the same name. Like, I love this one band called Kubla Khan, but they
Mhm.
changed their name to Kubla Khan TX because I guess someone already got to the name first. And it's like
Mhm.
putting like the fucking state of like putting the state of the band you're in
Mhm.
will keep you out of trouble, because it's like, oh, let's put on some Kubla Khan. Which one? The one from Texas. So
Yeah.
there is a litany of options that you had, and you picked the shittiest one. You
Yeah.
hate to fucking see it. Picking
Yeah.
Dan and Shay, we're on to the main course of our conversation this evening. Thank you for humoring me.
No worries. It was fun. I wish I
Okay.
knew more about what was going on. I'm too busy with my own work to worry about
Good.
what other people are
I'm
doing.
glad to know you're keeping busy. I'm glad to know you're keeping busy.
Yeah, I do my best.
We try, don't we?
Yeah.
So last time we were here, we talked about artists like Gorillaz, Vampire Weekend, Minus the Bear, Despair's Rag, Calafina, Yuya fuck, Yuya Matsushita.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with words with the TSUs because I know I'm not really supposed to pronounce that per se. It
Yeah,
always
well,
like
actually you
fucks up
do.
my shit.
Yeah, it's so SU is Sue, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So the T makes a harder S sound. So it's ts.
Ah, okay.
So
But I did know.
so
Okay, I'm not tripping.
yeah, so tsunamis, right? Tsunamis?
Yeah,
This
and I
is
like you
so
said, like
and like people always ask like why is there a T in tsunamis? Because well, tidal it's the
Japanese
word
term.
for tidal wave in Japanese, but it's pronounced tsu, tsunami, not tsunami. So,
Look at you teaching. You've been leaving off the clock.
oh,
I
well,
apologize.
oh no, that's okay. I am actually going to retire after a whole decade next month.
Congratulations,
Thank
sincerely.
you.
I know you've been alluding to that for a while on your own channel.
Yeah, I think I'm going to miss it. I enjoy teaching, but I'm in a position now where I have to pick one, and I made my choice. So,
Glad you chose you.
nah, yeah, I'm glad I did too.
So I think we'll choose some of your songs first, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. I thought we were gonna actually open with Girls' Generation.
We were gonna open with G. I think I think maybe I was like instinctively trying to like avoid the conversation, but
Oh, why? Yeah, we can
I
avoid it if
don't
you
know.
want. But it's just there's a song. Well,
Right, you were
is
gonna
there?
connect the bridge. That's what I remember
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
But like, it's okay. We can save the bridge for later if you want. It's
I
just
was gonna, we already had one hard conversation. Let's really get to the meat, if we will.
okay.
I'll
Sure.
I'll, I'll set him up. You knock him down. Uh,
Okay.
if you missed the conversation from our last stream together, like my association with SNSD, otherwise known as Girls' Generation, is that I was at lunch my senior year of high school. My friends,
High school.
um, oh my god, right? My two of my best friends were like, dude, G. And I'm like, huh? G. And I'm like, G. And they're like, G. And
Oh
so I'm like, what are you
God.
talking about? And so one of my friends, shout out to Ashwin. Hi, Ashwin, I love you.
Mhm.
And
Ashwin,
so,
long time no here.
bruh, bruh, that man is engaged.
Is he? Oh, cute.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Like, dreams do come true. Let me say that. Like,
Congrats.
I've been waiting for that moment all my life. Ashwin. I just knew like I just knew in my heart like, yo, someone's gonna scoop you up,
Cute.
make a man out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like finally, but no, for real, like plays this song for me, and I'm like, hmm, I ain't never heard no pop music like this. So I go to my my computer class and
Mhm.
I do my work and they're like, y'all can do
Mhm.
whatever you want until the class is over. And I listened
Mhm.
and sat to like I listened and sat to G by Girl Generation 10 times.
Wow.
And for the record, didn't really watch the video. And frankly, it's like I have a very dislike now that I'm 30, watching like girl group music videos from this genre is kind of like I have a it's not really fun for me most of the time, especially
Yeah.
considering how younger acts debut so early and so quickly.
Yeah.
And like the kind of videos that girl generation were doing at the time aren't really like the standard for aren't because like at one point they were the most significant girl group out of the genre.
Yeah.
Now it's just Twice, and shout out to Twice. But like it is like it's very freaking cheesy. And like
Yeah.
it's cool when like new school groups will do like the choreography for G, but it's just like I feel some songs feel perfect for the formats. And this is
Mhm.
like everything that I've been like led, like every pop song that I've heard throughout my childhood is like it makes sense that I like G. It has all like
Yeah.
the bits and bobs that I would like about the song. And
Yeah.
even when I hear it, I still go, uh-huh. Listen, boy, my first love story. Cause I'm just like, yes, sir. We're about to turn up. So like, and after that, like, there was no going back. Like,
Yeah.
it's so crazy knowing, like, and like just knowing that, like, oh, you can have 13 people in one group if it to make sense. I was just like, that was what I was thinking about earlier today because it's like when I think about the live element of a K-pop group performing, it's like not only am I not going to spend a dumb amount of money to see this group, it's like damn, like most of this shit is backtracked. And I'm thinking there are 13 of y'all, and somehow the harmonies aren't in check. It's not really vibing for me. And I'm like, yo, if the group is here to like, like dance, then I get it. But like, I want to know going
Yeah.
in that like, if I'm gonna see the live performance, I don't want to see any half-hearted vocals over some backtracks. I want to hear the
Yeah.
raw shit. And I
But
understand
they're
like
not
the
really
big
made for that, right? Like,
and like
that's what I was about
frankly,
to say.
yeah, and
The
like
big
frankly,
company bands.
if idols are hired to be like just a like if you're here to like do three of the things, not just one of them, because I would prefer to like have the person who's hired for the vocals to like serve the vocals and those who are here to like dance to the best of their abilities. But
Yeah.
if everyone here is like a balance of the three,
Mhm.
I like and I know like it's fucking pop music and like the companies are selling a product, but
Yeah.
like I was like compelled by K-pop for all these years was because I'm like the the effort I want from American pop stars, I'm not getting from them anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if the folks and like when you have like say a Tinashe or somebody like
Mhm.
of her equivalent like a Normani or Chloe
Mhm.
and Halle who are like gonna do all three
Mhm.
super well,
Yeah.
I feel like man, like if this is all competition, like uh, I want to be compelled to keep listening. And
Yeah.
I felt that when at this point, when there's like almost like seven of the original 13 left in Girls' Generation, I don't have that any longer. And
Yeah.
like and knowing that like, oh, there's still like a SM is still making them do stuff, it's like, wow, I'm surprised because usually after a decade, people in this genre are discarded.
Yeah.
And that it upsets me to
Mhm.
say the least.
Yeah, no, it's
And I
upsetting.
said a lot more than I thought I'd say. So,
No, that's
as
okay.
somebody in the culture longer than I was, and in a whole different country, like 12 years ago, what's your take on G?
So when G came out, I was actually in college. And so I guess well, I'll start off with my introduction to K-pop because my classmate who I used to listen or well, I mean, she's a friend. I don't know why I said it that way. And I don't know if we actually had classes together. Anyway, friend from high school. We listened to Japanese music together and she's like, "Have you ever heard K-pop?" I'm like, "No, not really. What is that?" And then she was like, K is Korean, so it's Korean pop music." I'm like, "Oh, is it good?" And she showed it to me. She shared it with me, and I want to say it was Dongbang Shingi, maybe. Dongbang Shinki is DBSK. Do you know who they are?
I know who DBSK is by
Yeah.
name. Yes.
Yeah, so they were my first like K-pop boy band that I heard. And I liked their music so much, like the production so much that I actually bought a bunch of their CDs, and it must have been by album 4 where I was just like they're not great. But album 4 was gifted to me actually. I wasn't expecting it, but the same friend who got me into them actually gifted me that album, which was so nice of her. So like I
Aw.
took a listened to it. They had like some good tracks, and I think that's and honestly, I listened to so
Oh,
much
TVXQ.
TVXQ. Yes, they're the same people. So TVXQ
They're
is
like
what they
a group of
use in
five, right?
yeah. So TVXQ is what they use for China. DBSK is what they use for Korea, and then Toho Shinki is THSK is what they use for Japan.
My God, having three names for three different
Because
regions.
they
I didn't know they
pronounce it
did
different
that.
because they pronounce it differently in each language.
Of course. Okay. Oh
So that's
man.
why. And but
Wow.
TVXQ looks the most unique, which is why it's the one that's circulated more.
Okay, I
Um
got into them. I only got into them when they became a duo. I'm like, wow, their stuff when they became a duo was like insane to me.
yeah. Didn't hear it, but like um in any case, the reason and then I started listening to Super Junior, which is like SNSD except with
Ah,
13 boys.
Super Junior.
And I actually liked and that's I'm gonna get into that later. But in any case, the whole reason that I was listening to K-pop at the time was because it was something different to my ears, and it was something refreshing to my ears. Not to mention a lot of producers who worked with American artists were writing songs for them, and I think that's why I liked it so much because I like American music. So I didn't necessarily care for anybody's voice or care for anybody's, I mean, like you give a boy band something to sing, their job is to perform it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's great. Some people are great at performing, some people are not so great, but they do what they can. And it's the job. It's the job. And but what I loved about it was just that it was something different to my ears that I could actually talk to my friends about because um I don't think at the time I really voiced it as much. I think the older I get, obviously the older you get, the more comfortable you get in yourself. But what even now, like I'll talk to some friends and they'll like mention a song or mention a thing and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, I know that song or I like that song." And I'll just kind of talk about it and then they're like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "Look, we've known each other for so long, but I only talk about the music you like because you listen to a particular type of music. I listen to everything." So, I mean, like some people are shocked that I still listen to Indian music. I'm like, that's what I grew up on. Why would I stop
Oh,
listening to that?
how?
Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah. No, because everybody thinks that, I'm um or rather people used to think, I can't say they do anymore because I don't surround myself with people like that anymore, but they used to think that I'm just kind of like if I like Japanese music then I'm only into East Asian music, so like that, you know what I
Oh,
mean, like I don't listen to anything else. And I'm like, no, that's not the case, but I mean, that's I never explained myself because I don't know who they are. It's
sure.
not their
Yeah.
business. In any case, it was something different I could listen to that I could talk to my friends about. So I enjoyed it, and I actually one of it was maybe later on in college as well that when Shiny debuted, and
Rest in peace, my boy,
yeah, was it Jonghyun maybe?
Jung Hyun Kim. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's freaking seven, bruh. Damn.
yeah, and it's like um their first album, their first song was great. I forgot the name of it.
Juliet.
No, Juliet's not the first song.
Shoot.
Debut
But I think I
song.
know what you're
I'll
talking
look it
about.
up. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
them so much, and then I liked their first album and then I found out that the first album was actually produced by somebody who wrote a lot of like Michael Jackson songs.
I don't know if it was Teddy because I know they worked with Teddy later in their career.
Maybe that's who it was then, because like but I know there's a specific producer that actually worked on the whole album.
BB Rexa. It may have been BB Rexa.
Um, no,
And maybe it was it Amigo or was it Replay?
Replay. That's
Replay.
what it
Okay,
is,
yep.
Replay.
Damn, I came out in 2008. Oh
And
my god.
I was just like, yeah, it was my first year of college, so I was like, wow, they're really great.
That'll do
And
it.
then
Right.
but then I started noticing that even if I think a band is great, that I think the songs are good. I never
Hmm.
really liked the groups themselves. Like if you took the same producer and gave that song to somebody else, I mean, I could, I don't know, maybe get something better or something worse. I wouldn't know. But I mean, you know what I mean? It was just like whatever songs they were giving was making them kind of like, it was just not worth it. And then I found out that every time a K-pop group debuts, the debut song is always strong. But I never, after the second song, I never cared about them. But it was just because of because I mean that's the formula, right? You come out really strong to garner all the fans that you can, and then you can do whatever you wanted to do as the group, right? So yeah, in any case, it was around that time I want to say that I got introduced to Girls' Generation. I don't want to say. I feel like when did Girls' Generation come out? Either they came out in like '06, I
Because
wanna say?
G was look, 'cause I know like
No,
O
not
was the second album, and they had one prior, and because I had 2007, a year
oh,
prior
okay,
to
that's
Shiny.
what it is. Alright, yeah, that's why. And then I think it's then G came out, and then I was like because I already
I think
knew
it
of
was 3 years later.
SNSD. Yeah, because I already knew of SNSD because of their first song, and I thought they were very cute, and I was like, "Oh, this is like a cute act," and, it almost reminded me of, like, how cutesy J-pop can be sometimes, and that's what their first song kind of reminded me of. So I was like, "Oh, that's cute." I wouldn't mind just seeing what they're up to. They're not really my thing, but, and then G came out.
Explosion, to say the least.
Yeah, and, G. It's hard to formulate my opinion because
You know what?
that
Can I say something really quick?
yeah.
Just because I never knew. I'm like, who produced G? And it was E Tribe, and they brought in this writer Kanata Nakamura to like I don't know if G came out in Japanese. Did it?
Yeah, I think it did.
I think it's why they may have pulled that particular writer then because I didn't know, and I know I've
Well,
heard E Tribe
he could
before.
have written, if he wrote the lyrics for the song, I think it came out in Japanese too, but I don't know.
Additional, but even still, I didn't know that, and I'm like, and there's something bubbling in you, and I'm anticipating what you have to say. I'm not gonna
So,
lie.
like, okay, so G. Technically speaking, I think it was the most brilliant song that they came out with. I think it was so brilliant. It was
It's the
so
plateau
smart.
almost.
It was like such a great pop song. And like no matter if you love it or hate it, it gets stuck in your head. And it's easy and catchy. It's very lighthearted. It's like a feel good song.
Yeah,
And people love that. And I just thought it was written so brilliantly. I hate the song. I dislike it so much and I think that's why. It's just in a genre that I don't listen to. That's it. That's the only reason why I dislike it. I don't and I remember cuz we were we kind of hyped it up, oh, I don't like SNSD and then you like compared my beef with SNSD to having beef with Betty White. And I actually told my brother that. He was laughing so much. But then but in all honesty, I don't like I feel like you
It's
need to
nothing
know.
personal. It's just business.
Yeah, I feel like you need to know a band enough to hate them. You know what I mean? But just they're not my thing. I don't hate them. I don't love them. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I know their songs. But I don't necessarily, I don't listen to them all the time. I just know who they are because they just happen to pass me by because a lot of my friends listen to Korean music. And that's like okay, but it's so funny. Sometimes I'll actually listen to G when I'm drunk cuz it like comes on my YouTube when I'm listening to other K-pop. So like when I kind of reminisce, I will listen to G. But it's just to remind me of, back when I listened to it for the first time and everyone was talking about it and but for me it's just not my thing, I think. I don't know why, but technically speaking, I think it's a brilliant song. It's so brilliant. Like it's so brilliant. I can't even hate that. It's so well done. It's so well done.
I think I might resent the song for like I resent the song for because like I find that like folks from America who have no
Mhm.
context for the genre,
Mhm.
who would not listen to it, who don't know who BTS is, but they've definitely heard Gangnam Style. And
Yeah.
for them, the genre starts and stops there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, like you're probably doing yourself a disservice, not only to Psy, because he has way better singles that are better than Gangnam Style that you'll actually enjoy listening to, and not just as a
Yeah.
joke. And then like for everybody else who like hears G and like, oh, like if this is the best that the genre has to offer me, why am I even wasting my time going down the rabbit hole? I would
I
even say, and
yeah.
I would think that like at least up until maybe 2017, like Girls' Generation drops a single that everybody should hear at least once. And because after that point, like I think everybody's so much older, and like then you really have like the opportunities as an idol to step away from like the stage and do other shit if
Yeah.
the company so allows you to do so. But like damn, because like I think of the other girl groups that came up at the same time as SNSD or other acts that aren't on like YG or SM or JYP get to like, like get their 15 seconds on television, or like who don't get the opportunity to crack a million views on YouTube
Yeah.
and like, fight for their careers. I think we're talking about it, and I think about Brave Girls who I know were primarily produced by the Brave Brothers and Brave Entertainment, and like things were going okay, but
Yeah.
like members were being constantly like switched out and removed and substituted. And I think there were like four girls left. I think there were like eight originally, then there was four, and they're like, well, time to pack up because like shit's not going well for us. And one of their
Yeah.
records started shooting up the charts just out of nowhere, and it's like, oh shit, we get a second chance to do this for real. And
Yeah.
like I would hate to be the person where it's just like, well, who are like they were in a situation where I feel like the weekend may thought he was in, where it's like, damn, shit's not hitting like it used to be.
Yeah.
Is it over for me? And Abel Dog, you already know shit's not over for you. Look at all these fucking nominations.
Oh
You're
yeah.
good. It's just that like it didn't have the like when the impact isn't impacting, it's like, oh shit, do I have to hang out my hat and go back to my like regular life, which isn't necessarily a
Yeah.
bad thing if you're not like for idols to like return to like, I get to be a civilian again, and weirdos aren't in my comments or looking at me when I cross the
I
street.
yeah, that's so funny. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's exactly what I was gonna connect into for the next song as well. But like
I think we should do that. I think
it
we should do that.
okay, cause like that's this I mean we talk about like nobody wants to give their opinion on like BTS or whatever because the fan base is fucking crazy. Like even if BTS, they must be wonderful boys. They do good at what they
They're our
do.
age, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just like But, like, it's scary, isn't it? Like, they come to the point where you can't voice an opinion or you can't be around. It's like if you it's just the craziest thing to me. Like, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and pick the next song real quick just to voice it. But,
Please,
like,
please.
so from my list, I actually chose, More Deep by Born just because you picked G.
Fascinating. Tell me everything.
So the song itself is not in the same genre, by the way. It's a Japanese visual K. It's like super hardcore rock. It's super
I like it.
fun. It's like, when I need I need to wake up, I used to listen to it in the car. So like, when I used to drive at like 6 a.m. to like my Japanese
Go get the
classes.
blood flowing.
Yeah, and then their music is brilliant. I like the song because it reminds me of like that hardcore visual K. Like that stuff that like when visual K bands become popular, you rarely hear it. You know what I mean? So like it was
Certainly.
just like and like so basically my friend is a huge fan of this. I mean I haven't talked to her in like ages. I hope she's well, but um she was a huge fan of this band. And the thing about it is she was like the token foreigner at the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I
What's
know
that
Chris,
mean?
well, in Japan, there aren't many of us. So, when we go to shows,
Ah,
when
us.
we yeah, us meaning like foreigners, let alone brown foreigners, and she's Hispanic. So she or I should say Latina, but she I don't know how to put it. So like, but she'd go to these shows, right? Basically, I might as well
Sure.
just spill the tea. But she would go to these shows, right? And so she was So this is how I label it, right? Like I don't necessarily, I don't know if everybody else feels that way when they go to a show, but there's something about being a white foreigner, and then there's something about being a not white foreigner in Japan
Baby,
specifically.
she brown. Why she doing here?
Yeah, I would get so many looks myself when I would go to shows. I think the difference was, if you know me, I actually don't make friends at shows. I go to shows so I enjoy my time and I leave. Like I rarely go to concerts with friends. I like if I go to a concert, it's generally by myself. The last some concerts I've been to have all been by myself. And anyway, what I used to call myself in the audience was the token foreigner. The token foreigner means like you're kind of in a sea of the Japanese people and you're the only foreigner there. So when the band recognizes you, it's because you're a foreigner. There's no other
Ugh.
meaning to it. Like you're minding your business like the other fans. But like even if I'm all the way in the back, I would just get stared at. And I never understood it, and, like, after talking to some people who, like, work in the music industry and stuff, they were like, "When we see foreigners, we don't believe that our music has made it that far. So when we see you
Mm.
and you're there, that makes us extremely happy." And I'm like, "That's great." But it's also, like, a little.
However,
Yeah, because they don't understand their effect on the fans. And the fans and they're the same as K-pop fans. Visual K fans are extremely hostile. And
oh,
I'm talking about like if I go back to my friend who, really loved Born, the difference between me and her is that she wanted to be friends with
oh, she
fans.
wanted to link up with other people who love the band as much as
Yes,
she did.
yes. And she wanted to be part of that fan group. She wanted to be a part of them. But all there was and then there was one point where, like, someone actually just, like, happened to, like her. She's just a nice girl in the crowd, and then she was like, "Hey, so my friend said, like, be careful when you go to the shows. I think people are talking about you." I'm like, "What?" And so the biggest thing the fans do is that they go on these message boards and they talk crap about the fan that they hate the most.
Oh my God.
But it's to the point that they will, for anyone who has a trigger warning, I apologize, you might not wanna listen, but, like, they would go and, like, be call her out and tell her to, like, die.
My God.
And she didn't know. So her Japanese wasn't good enough to read. So she at one point, she was like, "Hey, I I know this is happening because 'cause I've, like, heard it, people have told me about it, but I can't actually read the messages, can you?" And I'm just like, I'll look at it." And I didn't think it was gonna be anything that heinous. And so, like, but I'm, like, reading so many comments, and am I the only one in the show? Chris, I can't stream with just me. Oh,
Hey, I'm so sorry.
okay, no, that's okay. I was wondering what happened.
That's the first time it's ever happened to me before. I'm not gonna lie to you there.
Oh, weird. What
Uh,
happened?
I guess my connection isn't so strong as I thought it was. Are you okay? Did I miss
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, no, it was still streaming.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah. Oh wow. And so I'm reading this and I actually felt like sick to my stomach. Like this was disgustingly detailed and they were like calling her. There's like a specific word that you use for like fat people there and like my friend is bigger and
Not the fat phobia. Oh,
it's Japan. There rarely anyone who's fat, and if they're fat, they get stared at. So,
for shame.
it's just it was so disgusting, I actually didn't read the messages to her. I
And good for
told
you for
her
not like protecting your friend. Yeah.
I told her it's not worth it. You go to shows because you love to go to shows. And you need to enjoy that, and you need to know that the only reason that they're jealous is because the band appreciates you. That's it. And then I told
Point
her
blank.
that.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so the reason that I chose this song is because you chose G and K-pop fans are just as nuts. And it's so funny because like if they think anything is a little offensive to them now, they go on Twitter and post like a picture of their famous or their favorite K-pop star. And I'm like, what is this? Like people can't voice their opinion. People can't like I mean, if you don't it's strange to me. Like if you didn't like my art, for example, that's fine. You don't have to be purposefully hateful. I mean, I can speak up for myself if you're purposefully hateful, but like I wouldn't want people being like, "Oh, well, you're stupid because V is the best," and then people just like bashing them. I'd be like, "No, then leave that fucker alone, and then he'll fade. Like, just let him go away from us. Like, why would you need to do that?" But that's the thing; they drive on that. That's
I'm
what
not,
gets them, like, getting their, like, loyal fans, and I'm just like, "Well, no, if you're gonna be rotten, don't that's awful," and it's like, the band appreciated her that much. I mean, to the point that band actually came to the US, and it was in
ooh.
Virginia. So, like, my friends actually so we all studied in Japan together, but, like, that friend who is being bullied lives in Texas, and then
Oh wow.
the other friend at the time, she lived in, like, I wanna say Kansas. So they actually flew to Virginia for this show. For the co
Ah,
so it's for an anime convention, and they flew to the
okay.
show. And, they flew to the convention to see the band, and then they're like, "Hey, we also have a Japanese friend who's studying abroad, who's coming with us, who's flying to Virginia to stay with us. You wanna be our 4th person?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll see them. I'll go there."
Mm,
And they remembered her. That's how much she used to go to their shows that they no, in the middle of the song, the vocalist we were in the front. The vocalist came up
nice.
to the front, extended his hand to her to shake her
Ah,
hand. And he had the biggest smile on his face seeing her because he just appreciated her so much.
it makes me so happy.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, because I mean, think about it. You come from a country where there you don't I mean, even with the education now, you barely know anything about the world, and then you get to a point where people from other countries are listening to you. That's satisfying. Even in America,
Sick.
like like think about like an American artist in their first show abroad. That's the same feeling. It's always going to be the same feeling. I mean, like any artist feels that. Well, I actually made my first international sale like a month ago, and it's like you just it hits you differently because now the world is starting to notice you.
Hell yeah.
And it's a big thing. I mean, like it was so funny cuz like I don't know how my friends get into this shit. Like I'm going to be completely honest, but like they all have connections into like all these industries that they love, and I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And like she like even found out like he even had like I mean like maybe the fans were right to worry, but like she was like, "Oh, I heard he had like a little crush on me." And I was like, "Oh, that's very cute." But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, "Ha ha," right? Like we live our own lives somewhere else. That's cute and all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like
Yeah.
all she wanted was friends.
Yeah. Trying to turn up together for sure.
And you know, usually you're happy for your friends when that happens, right? Like when some
You
good
don't have to
news
worry.
comes,
Yeah.
you tell your friends. But it's like everybody was jealous of her. I mean, they had a right to be. I mean, she didn't stand there to look pretty. I mean, it was hardcore rock. She went there to headbang and go nuts. They probably appreciated that she just appreciated the music. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's just the stupidest like and she was a fangirl, right?
Just
She
like the rest of them.
wanted
Yeah.
to be with the other fangirls. Like I'm not a very fangirly person. So like when I go, I prefer to go in a corner and be by myself at a show. As long as I can move around and enjoy, then I'm good. But like she was a fangirl. She knew how they felt. She wanted friends. And all they did was tell her to go die.
Mm-mm.
And I'm just like, yo, you need new friends. So I mean like but that's exactly why I picked this song because one of the reasons that turns me off to K-pop is their fan base.
Fandom culture. Fandom culture.
And I don't like fandom culture. I like to enjoy things that I like to enjoy. And that's what bothers me. And most people, if you enjoy the same thing, you become friends.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. It doesn't happen in these groups. And I don't understand why that is. Oh, let alone it's like if you hate the band, you're an ass. If you love the band, you're an ass. And then God forbid you love somebody's favorite member that they want to marry someday. And then you're just like, please, God, I just want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy my hobbies. I want to enjoy music. I want to enjoy, you know, culture and fun. I don't want to listen to your crap because you don't have any other hobbies outside of this one person. But yeah, that's why I chose More Deep, but I have to say that it's a great song from a great album. So,
Stands out. And like, I think what one thing about like Japanese rock bands that like that personally just like gets my goat
mhm.
is that so it's like most boys my age in high school, you watch anime, right?
Yeah.
And like a lot of these shows have very fun, very just like exploding with personality opening themes, and
Yeah.
you're like, yo, who is this artist? Who is this
Yeah.
band? And
Yeah, and then
like
you look
you
them
dig up
up.
these bands, and it's like, oh damn, I
Yeah,
can't
for
find none of
sure.
their shit.
Yeah.
And like recently, I don't know why. Like an acquaintance was like, "Yo, do y'all remember Burst Angel?" And I'm like, "I do remember
Oh
that
my
show.
god.
I really
That's
liked the
so
theme
old.
song." And so, and this person's like, "Yeah, I listen to the theme song when I go to when I do my work." And I'm like, "I wonder." And I looked up the theme song to Burst Angel, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's on Spotify." I couldn't believe my good fortune, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, it was just so it was so like it took me all the way back to being a young person trying to
Yeah.
find that song on LimeWire and
Mhm.
just like
Oh,
feeling
that's right. That's right.
just
Yeah,
like
how many things you downloaded on LimeWire just
having
to
just like
get
a,
that
it's like
stuff?
it was like having a piece of rare gold in your hands. Like,
Yes.
whoa, like I can't believe
Yes.
I found like the because like it's like you hear a song on an anime and it's like a minute and a half, and it's like,
Yeah.
yo, there's a full song of the song I already enjoy.
Yeah,
Holy
exactly.
shit balls, you know? And so
Exactly.
I think about all like the things about fandom that I do enjoy, right? Like
Yeah.
say J Hope from BTS played a set by himself at an
Uh-huh.
American festival and all the army folks is like pulled up and
To
he's feeling the
support.
love and it's like
Yeah.
cool because like I don't really listen to J Hope's solo stuff anyway, but I know that like he's especially a heartthrob in the group and
Gotcha.
how say after all this time they're finally going to do like their year of like service in the military and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I think damn like I don't feel bad if like BTS gets back together after they're all done and it's like I don't think I want to do BTS stuff any longer, and I would have been
Yeah.
like good like it's what you deserve to be like. I think that's what like
Yeah.
because I think about there was one guy who was in BTS when they were doing their training or whatever, and
Yeah.
either he didn't get chosen or he's like I don't want to be an idol,
Yeah.
and Vice talked to him and he's just like I don't really mind not being famous all over the world and performing for audiences, but I
Yeah.
do miss my friends.
Yeah.
And like that should kind of fuck me up a bit because it's like, oh, like you can't see the boys no more
Well, I
because
think
they
it's
probably don't
because
have time.
yeah, and it's I mean, it's an experience that only you guys go through, right? You're always gonna have this. So it's when you don't want it to end or you might feel a certain thing for it. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's how we all felt when I mean, this is probably not as on a big scale, but like when I studied abroad, all of the friends, we all experienced that time with each other. So we'll always have that connection. But we
I think
all
it's
live
the same.
separate lives now. Yeah. So it's it's an experience you have together that you enjoy together and sometimes you can only live it for so long. When you come out, you might think differently, you might feel differently, but it doesn't diminish your experience any more, you know what I mean?
I do.
Or any less. Yeah.
Should we
So
should we move on to Mook?
oh, I think the next song is yours.
I think we'll close mine out. I think we'll finish with Hot Chip because I think we'll have like the least to say about it.
Oh, okay, sounds good. I forgot the song that I chose.
Frisia,
Frisia. Okay. Um,
another big power ballad.
yeah. So,
I liked this song. Thank you. I've always known about this group, but I don't
yeah.
remember how I got into them. And so, like you bringing them back to my attention, I seriously, sincerely appreciate that. You know,
Yeah, not at all. So, actually, Frisia sounds the least like their music.
really, what's that about?
Yeah. And I think it's because at the time, their guitarist, Mia, was experimenting with electronic sounds and DJing.
I can hear that in the song.
So, what happened was they made a few songs with a lot more electronics because Mia is the main songwriter. So he
Sweet,
started just incorporating new things. They had been together doing, the same stuff that worked for a long time. Why not try something new kind of thing?
yeah.
And it's so weird because when I heard this song when it came out, I used to hang out with a friend and they were such a huge Mook fan to the point that they had their own little like cosplay group.
Oh wow,
And I mean, like, they were obsessed with Mook. It was like ran their life.
wow.
But Frisia came out and they
Mhm.
hated it.
Really?
Like they said there was so much crap. And I think I agreed at the time. I wouldn't say that I hated it. Hate is a very strong word. But I mean, but they hated it. Like they cared about how much they hated it, so they hated it, right?
Wow.
So, but it because it just sounded so different. It was suddenly so different. And for me, I didn't realize it at the time. I did dislike the song at the time.
Hmm.
And so when you picked this 2010 thing, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if Muka came out with anything at that time." And the reason that I forgot was because it was Frisia. And
Damn.
because it was so different from what they usually played. They usually played more of their instruments and raw sounds and stuff like that, but this one
Yeah.
was more electronic. So I went back to listen to it actually because I was like, "Oh, I remember this song when it dropped because everybody around me hated it, and I disliked it for sure, but I didn't obviously, I forgot that it was released at the time, so, I mean, I didn't care as much as they did, but I listened to it again while I was making the list, and I really like it now.
Some things get better with age, right?
And I think and I think it's just my growth and my maturity as somebody who's, now I do music as well. And at the time, I was very it was very easy for me to let people speak for me.
Mm,
And generally if they're not wrong, then I don't correct them.
sure.
But I didn't have a deep hatred for this song. I really didn't. I did dislike it at the time. I do agree with that. But it didn't mean that like everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, V, remember how much we hate that song?" And I'm like, "We?" I
Yeah,
forget
who's
it.
that?
Yeah, and I'm like I forget it exists until you remind me about it. So it's like, but then I heard it again and I was surprised at how much I really liked this song. I really like this song. It was
That's awesome.
yeah, and yeah, no, Frisia's a great song. I mean, it took a little I wouldn't even say it took a little maturity in me. It took me a long time to remember that the song existed. But and like I said, people change with time. I think especially for somebody like me who kind of grew up with friends who stuck in the same genre. It got
My biggest fear.
it got like I don't have anybody like other than you because you'll actually listen to me when I bring up music that you've never heard of. But like I never felt comfortable talking about everything that I listen to. So I always listen to things in secret. And then people are like, "How do you know about this?" I'm like, "Because you don't care about what
This
I
is what
have
I
to
do.
say. You want to talk about you." The only reason I listen is because I understand what you're talking about. But if I start talking, you're not going to understand a thing of what I'm talking about. So it's like there's
Some friends,
no
right?
yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in my 30s. I've gone away from people like that. And I just don't even think about it. I like to go where I feel appreciated now, you know? Like I can feel comfortable to talk about certain things and talk about, things that I like and not just what they like. And they'll listen because they're good friends.
Good.
Yeah, but like I was so surprised when I heard it again and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's something about the creativity. Sometimes as an artist you do certain things and you want to try new things and there's nothing wrong with that. So I
100%. And
appreciate that. Yeah.
I think it's like I think I had a predisposition for what I thought the band sounded like at the time
Yeah.
when I listened to it in high school, and I'm just like I feel like, oh, like the way this vocalist sounds is like, is this how I remember them sounding? Well, I don't know. Let me just keep listening. And again, like I said in the first part of our stream,
Yeah.
you brought some, you gave me like four, really, like four. Hold on, let me count the songs that you gave me. There are five of them, but not all of them are ballads per se. Not the Born
Yeah.
song is not a ballad, but like that is, and neither the Despair is, right. But Calafina, the Yuya song, and now this song, all
Yeah.
spectacular ballads,
Oh, I'm
and
so
like
glad.
that's a lack in my life. And I just wanted to point out that, like, while you were talking about this band, I'm like, I wonder how long they've been together. And they've been
Like a
together
billion
since like
years.
1997, and that's
Yep.
25 years.
Yep.
And like, you have to like commend a band with that's not like significantly known in the West, just like doing the damn thing for all this time. I was just telling both my housemate and my friend Frost about Yo Yo Ma.
Oh, I
Like
love
he's
Yo-Yo Ma so much. I
the
love him
guy,
so
right? He's the
much.
guy.
Oh my god.
And like I follow him on Twitter. And he recently dropped an album with like two of his homies. They're playing some Beethoven records. And they're like talking about how they met. And one of the guys who's there with Yo-Yo, he's like, "Oh, we've been playing songs together for like the last 50 years." And I'm
Yeah.
like in my bed, like, what the fuck? Dude, y'all are married. playing songs all this time together and just like 50 years? Yeah, 50 years. I'm just like, are you are you kidding me?
No.
And like I retweeted it like this is the love I've been looking for all my life. Where
Yes.
like you just look at a person, it's just like he's always been here creating with me, playing these
Yeah.
beautiful songs together.
Yeah.
And just like the third guy is like, oh, like we met when we were much younger. You had longer hair, you had a mustache. And I'm like, you have to meet my friend Yo Yo Ma. Because like, oh, you play
Yeah.
violin, he plays like this instrument. And like,
Yeah.
oh, he and Yo Yo, they like fell in love instantly when like, it's like playing records.
I
Like
know, goals for sure, yes.
like know someone for
Love it.
50 years and it's
I
just like oh
know.
when I if I call so and so on the phone we're gonna like hop in the studio and cook up something wonderful
Yeah.
and like so to know that like a band on the other side of the universe is just like well time to get back on the road again and you
Yeah.
never know what the heck they're up to and then like you drop a gem in my playlist and it's just like
Oh,
damn hell yes.
I'm so glad. I actually that's interesting. Do you know what's your or who's your longest friend that you have?
The friend I've had for the longest.
Yeah.
This is kind of difficult, so I'll just go ahead and say like my brother and sister.
Oh, okay.
I think it's safe to say those two are like my sister she calls me best friend and it's a bit of a joke cuz
Yeah.
as we grew older, like when we were in middle school, we we're 2 years apart, my sister and I, and
Mhm.
we in middle school we didn't have the best relationship. And in high school it was different because again 2 years apart. So by my junior year she's a freshman and then by my senior year she's a sophomore and we had a class together. We had chamber singers together.
Oh, very
And
nice.
like the joke was that she was my best friend. Between the two of us, like, yo, I'm gonna call you my best friend. And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
yeah,
sweet.
okay. But now that I don't see my sister so often, she'll be like, best friend, what's good?
That's so
And like
sweet.
I mean it when I say it because like even though she's younger than me,
Yeah.
she's the one like of myself and my brother, like she's the one that figured shit out. You know what I'm saying? First to get her bachelor's degree, went on to
Oh,
get her master's
beautiful.
degree. Like
Beautiful.
she's a documentary photographer working in the art scene in New York City. And
Wow.
it's just like, oh, bro, like you need to come out here to the city and like come to these restaurants, see my friends, go to these museums because, and she's just like, oh, like you're gonna do cool shit when you get an opportunity to see your own dopeness and things of that nature. So yeah, probably my sister. Shout out to AEO. She's popped in on the stream every so often. Shout out to
Oh, that's
you.
so sweet. That's awesome.
Why do you ask?
Well, because we were talking about Yo-Yo Ma and, oh, I
Yo,
forgot it
mama.
was I forgot the other musician's name. Um, but they were friends for 50 years, and I was
I looked the
thinking
dude's name up because I'm still just like
we're,
tripping off that.
um because we're young compared to them, so I was
Yeah.
thinking I just wondered how long your longest friend is because my longest friend is pretty long, minus my brother, obviously, but my actual friend who's not blood related to me, it's been a very, very long time.
Okay, I found them. It's Emmanuel Axe and Leonidas Kavakos.
Ah, okay, okay.
And they just released they released an album called Beethoven for three.
Yeah, I
And
saw
like
that.
that shit is so cool that
I need to,
it's
I need to see it.
like I there is so much I don't know about classical, but like every time I peer behind the curtain, it's just like, man, like everything that I love about every other genre can be found in this shit. And I love
Yeah.
that. You know, like
Yeah.
I think when I was still on my iTunes bag, there was this release he put out with like three other musicians and one of them was like the lead singer from the Punch Brothers. It was like very like bluegrassian, you know what I'm saying? But it
Yeah.
was still classical. He's just still ripping on that cello and other guys is playing like the mandolin and there's this beautiful like man and woman singing and it's just like bro like I'm so glad I got this for free because it's just like it's shit you grow up with like when you're a kid and like your parents take you to like libraries and stuff, maybe like free concerts to hear chamber music and stuff like that, baroque and things of that nature. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's just something a little more things become epic when like you like when you bring in like the classical instruments, like the full horn section. Like I think about One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII,
That's one of my
and just
favorite
like the
songs.
dude like who composed it was like, nah, we need to bring in a metal band and we need like the Latin choir to sing this shit because like
Yeah.
we can make this bigger and more grander. And just like when I
Yeah,
just
he's
like
such a
hear like just
genius,
a
that composer.
what is dude's name?
Oh,
It's gonna kill me.
Uematsu? Uematsu.
Nobuo Uematsu,
Yes.
bro. Like with that just big bushy mustache.
Yes. He
Like
actually played at Otakon, an orchestra, and I couldn't go. I was really upset. I think there's something happened and I couldn't go. And,
just to like hear those stabs, like when they put
I'll never,
Sephiroth into
yeah.
Smash Bros. And they played the song, it's just like my body tensed up because it's just
Yeah.
like
So, like, if you actually, like, so I actually have the, Final Fantasy VII Remake, full album because
the one from Advent Children.
no, so, you know Final Fantasy VII,
Oh, the
right?
game. They
The
rebooted the
game,
game. I know what you're
remake,
talking about. That's
remake.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Advent Children's so old. But no,
My
the
God,
remake that
that's
just
so
came out, like, a
crazy.
couple years ago, but,
Yes, yes, yes.
I actually bought the original soundtrack
That's
because
so cool.
think about how great the songs were when they came out,
Yeah.
and now they've been remade with a full orchestra.
Look, before I just like fanboy for the next
Yeah.
half an hour, let's wrap this shit up.
Oh,
We really
yeah.
put in the work. Like,
Yeah, for
what
sure. But
what more
oh,
can we
no.
even say?
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, I gotta, I'll play that for you after the stream. I'll play you the original battle song, and then I will play you the remake song, and you'll notice the difference. Like, it brings chills to your body when you hear it. It's so good.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for this gift.
Yeah. No.
Um, I
Thank you
was
for
actually
letting me share it.
thank you for being a friend.
Oh, shout out, to Golden Girls, because there's like a theater play I forgot the name of the group there that's going to do it, but they're actually going to do a Golden Girls show in February.
That's
In
spectacular
like, I want to say it's in DC, but I'm not sure. I have to double check, but I gotta go.
for the culture. Our last song, song 10 out of 10,
Yes.
is Take It In by Hot Chip. Quite the interesting group when you think about it. Just a bunch of just like groovy British dudes making that music. And
Yeah.
just my introduction to them was just so funny because it's like in the middle of their career, they put out the album One Life Stand, and like the video, it's like their parody. It's so funny. We were talking about like BTS and all that bullshit for so long. The
Yeah.
song was for I Feel Better, and there's lots of auto tune and stuff like that. And in the video you see like these really hot young guys in like the typical like 90s boy band outfits with the shiny pants, and
Yeah.
then out of nowhere like you see like this bald old dude singing like this, and like everyone's confused, but like they try to ignore him, but every time they ignore him he just like fires his laser and murders them. And
I have to
like
see this video now.
and so like they're confused and they try to like threaten him. It's like, hey man, don't interrupt the performance. We're out here doing our thing. And he's just like, you're dead. And like just blast him with his mouth laser while the song is playing. And like, but then everyone's dead. But it's just like, wait for it.
Yeah.
And then like in a flash, they all like come back to life, and he's the lead singer, the old dude.
Yeah.
And like he's just doing his performance and everyone loves it. But then out of nowhere, a floating head comes out and then like kills them all with his laser eyes, and he runs out
Yeah.
of the back room. And I'm like, what the hell is this bullshit? I'm so confused. And like the actual band is just like PAs, and they're also melted to death by the floating head. But I'm
Yeah.
like, all the time I cheer that this, and I'm like, this song is so good, but the video is so confusing. And I'm like, oh well, I guess that was just really weird. But then I found the CD out in the wild, and I'm like, oh, it's that band. Like, I'm gonna check this shit out. And I'm just like, Is it something about just like older dudes who love like that house electronic dance sound that just like do something interesting? And this is like a full band with drums, guitar, bass, someone down here and someone out there. And I'm like, this is cool. This is neat. And like
Yeah.
they have songs like Brothers about like, like, oh, we spend a lot of time on the road together. And I'm so thankful to be with y'all. It's like we play video games, we eat together, and we perform, and people love us. And I'm
Yeah.
thankful it's with y'all and not some people I hate. And like the I Feel Better record is on there, and it's like it's vibey. But then
Yeah.
the album finishes with this song, and
Yeah.
I want to like read some of the lyrics because I think it's kind of beautiful. Let me see. And one of the like the musicians I love here in Philadelphia, Shamir Bailey, I tweeted him all these years ago saying, "Yo, you should link up with the Hot Chip dudes because your voice would fit perfectly over their production." And he followed me for it, and I've just been holding on to that nugget ever since because it's not often like the people I respect like acknowledge my weird ass hot takes. But
Yeah.
like the lyrics, like the chorus is my heart is flown to you just like a dove, it can fly. Please take my heart and keep it close to you. Take it in. And I'm like, that's so fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I was just it reminded me because I'm not gonna lie, I was supposed to re-listen to everything before today's stream, but I've been ill.
Oh
Well, I mean, I've been in bed the whole time, so but I couldn't talk to Fox at School about the I Feel Better for the same reason I couldn't talk about the TV on the Radio Golden Age video. Thought I was doing drugs when I talked.
yeah, it sounds kind of nuts when you say it out loud, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess that's true.
But go on, I'm
But,
sorry.
no, that's okay, and, I remember listening to this song now because I just listened to this song, and when you said you talk about the lyrics, it's funny because I actually looked up the lyrics to this one. And, that's why I was, like, rereading it here, and, I just, it's such a nice song. It's such a beautiful song, and I like how
It's
it's written.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's and like like for all like the bullshit we're talking about, like yeah, top 40 is so trash. It's like when you take like the conventions of a pop song and do something a little unconventional,
Yeah.
because like like a band like Hot Chip and like the folks were like say like a Kelly Clarkson or a Pink
Yeah.
or even like a Camila Cabello, they're all using the same shit. But
Yeah.
like, what are we gonna what can we amass together to like play this 30 times a day and make a lot of money?
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, like even me going through Spotify trying to find this one particular album, the Hot Chip dudes have been putting shit out since 2004 and
Yeah.
have not slowed down. And I think like it's very I think it's like it's a very fortunate place to be when you make dance records and it's like cool. At some point, some weirdo in the world with two like turntables and a microphone is gonna be like, yo, we need a remix from Hot Chip. Someone get a phone from England so we can get them on the phone. And I'm
Mm.
just like, man, like how fascinating must that be? Like, have they played Japan? Have they played Korea? Like, what is the
Yeah.
American experience like for them? Like, I
Yeah.
like this one project, and I'm like, cool, I like that. I'm just gonna put it to the side. Years later, I'm in someone's car and they're playing me some new Hot Chip, and I'm like, this
Mhm.
fucking song is 7 minutes, and I love it.
Yeah. It's really good. It's just that's the great thing about music is that no matter what you create, you're always going to find somebody who resonates with what you make. And it's not really just music, it's in any art form. And that's what I find so beautiful. You never know when your journey will really take that turn that you anticipate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like 2 nights ago, I was thinking about you
Oh.
because there's this producer I'm a big fan of from Toronto named Andrew Huang,
Mhm.
and he does this series called Four Producers Versus, where like he gets like himself and three of his friends to like flip a sample
Oh,
and like they're
cool.
like, okay, you're really talented, take this sample and make a full song out of like the portion that I give you. I'm gonna do it too so you don't feel like I'm just trying to like put you on blast. And like 4 days ago he dropped a new episode and it was called Four Producers Versus Arturia. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And so I watched like the first like 15 minutes. And it was like a sponsored episode, and it's
Oh,
just
wow.
like they're like a French like software group that sells packs of just like synthesizers and plugins and
Oh,
like
wow.
digital like keyboards and drums and bass and vocal packs. And I'm like, yo, I should get this to V.
That'd be
So
cool.
like,
Just
because I know now you have a computer that's like dedicated to making your own stuff. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, what if I like got the thing that's that they're working with, so that like, oh, like let me just like pick something out of the box and make a song with this thing,
Yeah.
because like I don't know, if I'm not sure what kind of audio interface you're working with, but it's like I'd love for you to have more tools to play with, just like dicking around until like something just
Yeah.
like falls out of you, like just like like jamming, and it's like, oh shit, I have something here. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
send you the episode to watch because it's a good half hour, and it's like usually like reaction channels kind of suck because they have to pause and play to avoid like
Yeah.
getting copyright stricken. But then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like everything that's being played is original, and like since it's sponsored content, they all like and like, wow, like I really love what you did here. And then like they're really just like step by step I used this particular thing, switched the knob here, did that, and it sounded like this. Ding ding ding. And it's like, what the fuck? You people are magicians.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not gonna lie, like, recently I've been talking to more, like, musician people that I know,
great.
and a lot of people, yeah, man, I'm, like, trying to make friends and shit now. Look at me go. Um, one of the things that I would I was talking to one of my friends about was like, "Hey, like, can you tell me what you use for your beats? Because it's pretty cool." And I think I'm just not like I myself am not as tech savvy. Like a lot of people, they make their and he said like, yeah, he does everything. He does everything on the computer, and I'm like, that's insane because for me, I'm better at raw sounds. And he's like, what do you mean raw sounds? And I'm like, I mean like instruments. Like you play an instrument and you record that. I'm better at that than I am working with things on the computer. And I'm like, I'm learning now and I just think it's fascinating.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll actually explain this another time or I'll explain it off camera because eventually I will explain it on a stream.
Hell
But,
yeah.
I just but it's funny because I'm meeting more people now who are actually I'm learning from and, you know, it's so interesting to talk to different musicians because different musicians in different genres have different minds, and it's so as long as they're open to hearing everything, it just becomes such a beautiful conversation. And, but, like, yeah, no, when you mention, like, all that stuff, it's so funny because sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, I need more stuff to, like, you know."
To play with, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, "Well, maybe I should learn how to use this thing first," and then, like but at the same but, like, yeah, more never hurts, you know?
Yeah, like I want to see you get your Miss Frizzle on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm super excited for the
Good.
future of my
I'm
songs.
excited too.
Yay, thank you, and, like
Yay!
thank you as well because you're like one of the people who always just I know you don't F around. Like I know that you would be honest with me if something needed something or you needed or whatever your opinion is on a certain song is why I come to you for like my first opinions. I'm always like, Chris, did you listen to my new song? And then you're just like, oh yeah, wait. And then you come with it. But to hear that you genuinely liked it and genuinely liked the fact that you could tell that there was a message coming out of my songs. Um, thank you because that meant a lot and that actually gave me confidence to keep going on. And like you and like my other friends who are picky were like, "Hey, your songs are great." It's just like like I've discussed a billion times. Back then my production value was low, and that was for a reason. But I mean, now I have, newer stuff and everyone's like, "No, we liked your songs." And everyone who genuinely liked it. And I myself am kind of surprised because I know I can do better. I just couldn't do better at the time. You know what I mean?
I do.
And so it's like, I just want to say thank you. I'm excited to kind of
Good.
share the new stuff as soon as I feel better and I can record. But it should be done soon, and whenever it's done, I'll be ready to share it. So,
I'm happy to hear that sincerely.
oh, thank you.
I'm trying to like dig you up on Spotify right now so I can just like say the names of your songs out loud so everyone can hear.
Oh, so I don't know if my songs are on Spotify anymore.
You pulled them.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. They're well, like, well, if with
Oh, but it's on my website. If you
that's what I
like.
was about to say next.
Okay, yeah, they're all
Like,
on my website to buy.
yeah, like I wanted to say that to everyone who's to everyone who might be interested, like say my homeboy Living Abstraction,
Oh,
it's
thank you
like
so
in it
much.
in addition to like clothing, prints, like fine art, you can find all of these songs on subtlesmile.com. The URL to that is in the doobly doo. So like click on that, favorite the website. If you ain't got no
Please,
dough, I
please.
ain't judging you, you know what I'm saying? But just like
I don't judge you
save
either.
it, pass it to a friend, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to make some money. Capitalism is
Yes.
evil, but we all gotta eat. So
Yes. I do also want to say that my website has a membership area that's $7 a month. You get like kind of behind the scenes vlogs and like, cute other videos I make that I can't put on the YouTubes. I make some ganja review videos because people like to see me cough and laugh. Um, but
breathe the weed.
yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Maryland for
Congratulations
legalizing.
to my former state and your current state.
Yes, congratulations.
It's a start. It's not great, but it's a start.
Yeah, and I think yeah, it's kind of like an odd concept. I actually got the membership concept because I actually tried, Patreon and
Fan house
Coffee
and things like
and
that.
Fan House, and it just didn't work for me. And it's might as well, like, if I have a membership area, I was like, why not get all the money if I'm making if I'm making the
You have the money
all
to
the
meet.
content, yeah. And so I created my own membership page on that website, subtlesmile.com, and it's called the Kaleidoscope. And I do blogs, I do videos. There's a Kaleidoscope only shop which has a bunch of free stuff that you can get with free shipping. If you just pay the $7, you can get all that free stuff. Um, you and the free stuff comes. There's at least one free thing every month, and so
Yeah, it's gonna change.
yeah, and it's $7 a month. And honestly, it's if you guys like my work and you don't see a piece that you want right now, or you can't afford a piece right now, or you're just still thinking, but you want to support me, I think the Kaleidoscope is the best way if you'd like to support me. Because like I said, it's only $7 a month, and like I don't judge. I've been in situations where I haven't had $7 for the month, so. But if you are looking to support, I get this question a lot because people are like, I kind of want to wait for that one piece that I really want from you, but I love your art. How can I support? Please join the Kaleidoscope on my website, subtlesmile.com, and that money goes straight to funding my projects. So thank
Yeah,
you.
why pay Elon when you can pay Vina?
Yes, please. I love it.
Eat the rich, save the kids. Don't grow up to be a capitalist. Shout out to Eichlers. Listen, folks, it's been 2 hours, approximately 2 hours and 13 minutes. Thank you for those who made the time to stop in. We had a
Yeah, thank you
1.2
so
listeners,
much.
and that's fucking awesome. Thank you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And so we
Thank you.
appreciate that. If you can't get enough of me in particular, I know I'm gonna be on station head with my good friend who is dropping comments all over the place, Living Abstraction, with his fun show, Midnight in a Perfect World. So if you have Spotify Premium, tap in. He's going to
Yes.
be playing some cool records. He's going to be paying tribute to the Go team. So if you're from England and you don't listen to that band, what the fuck are you doing? Get on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're freaking great. And if you're listening to this right now, you're freaking great.
Thank
V,
you, guys. Yes.
I propose that we do this again a year from now, but for 2020. What do you say?
That sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm
at this
definitely
like
up for that.
like 10 songs from you, 10 songs from me, and we'll just like reflect in
Yeah,
2023 what the hell we were listening to 3 years prior when we
during
thought the world
COVID.
was going when we thought
Yeah.
the world was gonna fucking end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shit, if we're here next winter, like we got it. We gotta like just reflect.
Oh, yeah, for
Just
sure.
just put that shit in stone. So like, thank you for making the time to do this not once but twice.
Not at all, thank you for
It's always
having
a
me.
pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely. Same here.
Let's do these calls to action. Get the hell out of here. People of Earth, hear my words. There are three things you can do for me if you don't like, comment, or subscribe. The first thing you can do is very easy. I promise. You can go to the bathroom right now, or in the morning when you brush your teeth and floss. You can look yourself dead in the eye and say, "Hey, I love you," to yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's a really hard world to live in, but like you gotta like show yourself some love. And if for some reason you can't do that, please know that people like myself and V love you in the most supportive, platonic way possible. You know what I'm saying? Those weird British dudes said all you need is love, and for some reason they were not wrong about that. The second thing you can do is to drink some water. I'm gonna do some right now. Watch this. Gosh darn, very refreshing.
Mhm.
Water is good for you, good for the skin. Believe it or not,
Yes.
there's water in your body. Replenish it. Okay, cool, great. Last thing, and today I had to unfriend 3 people on Facebook because for some reason this is controversial to say, but believe it or not, there's a pandemic outside. So if you don't mind, if you're able to, please wear a mask when you leave your home. And when you do, make sure it's over your nose and under your mouth, or it
Yep,
ain't gonna work.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? Please, please, please do one, if not all these things. And I think that's that. There's this dude I follow on TikTok who I'm looking forward to seeing in December.
Mhm,
Dude's named Todd, and like he does a lot of really cool like song reviews and album reviews.
mhm.
And he's like, "Life is good, music is better." And
Yes,
like I love it very much. He's like a
yes.
teacher, and I'm like, bro, like that's a lesson right there, dog. And like, so I hope you learned a lot listening to this stream. Bernard Ward, the Human Serviette says, keep on rocking in the free world. So
Yep, and for
until
you
next time,
guys who
V,
don't know,
what?
you can say hi to my
The
babies.
babies, hi babies.
I think that's Cloud sleeping in the bed, or in you could probably see is that you, Cloudy? Oh, no. Oh, it's butt. It's his butt near the hay.
What?
The bottom. Yeah, it's fat butt, which
Shout
I'm
out to the guinea
happy. It
pigs.
means they're healthy, so I just want them to be
Good.
healthy.
We love this. V,
Yes.
do me one last favor. Please say goodbye to the people out there in the world.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. And I also run a YouTube channel. And you can find all the links to social media and all that stuff at my website.
Subscribe.
Yep. And you can find all that stuff on my website, subtlesmall.com, which Chris has kindly put in the, I'm sure, the description box place.
Damn
so,
right.
yeah, thank you guys so much. Everyone stay safe out there. It's flu season. COVID still hasn't gone. And just stay safe, stay healthy, and be kind to one another out there. Be kind to your neighbors. Be kind to yourself. If you're not kind to yourself, you don't have kindness to give to the world. So make sure to take care of yourself. Be kind, be happy, and be healthy to yourself and to others. So
Here,
thank
here.
you.
Brown lives matter. Black lives matter. Trans lives matter. Okay, we're out of here.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.